guys. Have a good game.
You're good.
What's that? I said you were texting the sun as far as you could. So Yellow. What you thinking?
I don't know what I'm looking at. Yeah, that's my broom. That's my gripper. No.
You must really have
Good morning from the Dartmouth Curling Club. Your draw 4 for the Deloitte Tankard. Good morning to everyone here on 9 o'clock draw 4 for the Deloitte Tankard from the Dartmouth Curling Club. My name is Jeff Fitzgerald. I'll be with you this morning along with Selena Thompson. We have the game this morning between Chad Stevens and Stuart Thompson. Chad Stevens is at 2-1. Thompson is also at 2-1. So winner today will move to 3-1. Loser will be dropped down to 2-2. It's a big game for both of them. And the game is underway here. We have Stuart Thompson holding the hammer in the first end. Here's first rock from Thompson lead, Taylor Ardeel, sorry. First rock for Chad Stevens slipped into the house. Stuart Thompson looked like they're going to throw up the corner guard and start the game on the offensive end of things here. So, been a great week so far here at the Dartmouth Curling Club. You want to come out and see some of the action live, by all means. $5 a draw to get in. See the best curling in Nova Scotia. Here comes Kelly Middlestat with his second rock at the first end. Been a great week of curling here so far. We have Kendall Thompson, Stuart's brother, at the top of the standings at 3-0, followed by Mark Dacey, Chad Stevens, Stuart Thompson, and Jamie Murphy, all at 2-1. Defending champion Jamie Murphy. We have Brett McDougall at 1-2, Mike Fleming at 0-3, and Team Greg Power at 0-3 as well. Other games on the sheet this morning. Our sheet B, we have Mark Dacey going against Jamie Murphy. Sheet D is Mike Fleming going against Brett McDougall, and sheet E will be Greg Power against Kendall Thompson. So Kendall looking to go 4-0 over there. Our draw on sheet C this morning, as I said, is Stuart Thompson against Chad Stevens, and Pam Sullivan and Dan Hobson will have the call on sheet D for Brett McDougall and Mike Fleming. Got a relatively clean first end happening right now. Chad Stevens looking to draw around the centerline guard there and put one in the house. Chad Stevens had a great game yesterday against Kendall Thompson, back and forth. He was facing a lot of pressure on every end, came through most of the time. Just in the last end, came up a little bit light on his last draw, giving Kendall Thompson 2 for the win. So that was a big game yesterday for both teams. No hit and roll there for Stevens. Stewart will ask his second Travis Coulter to get rid of that rock. That's behind the tee line. Ice conditions here at Dartmouth have been great all week. Lots of curl from the outside in. Pretty straight running down the middle, but guys have, and ladies as well, have adjusted to it quite well. Good morning to Selena.
Good morning, everybody. My mic not be on. Might not be on.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Thanks, Chuck. And we've had an awesome crew here, Chuck and Sean, for Bell 5 TV1. I don't know how they're doing it. They're doing every draw for us, but that's how you get to watch all these games live.
Yeah, it's great coverage. Big game for both these teams today, Selena. You get both teams at 2-1.
Yeah, exactly. And 2 more days of round robin. So the men have 2 games today, 9 and 7, and then they'll also have 2 tomorrow. And that'll be, I guess these teams each do have 4 games left, including this one.
Right.
And then tomorrow's will be at noon and 8 p.m. So if they're on sheet C or D, you can watch them, but only top 3 teams make it to playoffs, so you don't really want to go. I think 2 losses might get you there.
It's probably the max, yeah.
Yeah, but that's about it. Maybe 3.
Depends on everything, how everything shakes out.
Exactly. Last year we almost had I think it was we needed like 4 scenarios on the 4 different sheets in the last round robin game, and 3 of those 4 scenarios materialized, and the last one almost did. And we would have had a huge tie for second place. But instead, I don't think there were any tiebreakers last year. That's how it goes.
Well, you look at what's going on Sheet B and Sheet D. We got 2 games going on, and all 4 teams are 2-1. So
exactly.
2 of those teams are going to drop back to 2 losses and be on that bubble, like you just said. So.
Yeah, and there's only 1 undefeated team so far. I don't know if you mentioned that. That's Kendall Thompson.
Yeah, been playing great all week. I did the game yesterday between them and Chad Stevens, and they played really well. They
and I was
really aggressive. And
I was watching last night against Team Dacey and not scared to make the big shots.
No.
It was pretty neat to watch. So I think they're the ones that everyone's kind of watching at this point, and everyone else trying to stay at 1 loss. So Stewart with the hammer here. He's got the corner guard, throwing the blue stones. That'll be easy to remember. Blue pants, blue stones.
Very
Colton
good.
Steele throwing. I think they'll go for the run back here. They'll want to roll the shooter if they don't get this very close to making that run back. But important to roll the shooter over because Chad's probably going to call another guard. And if they're overlapping, it's going to be hard to run either one back. But now there will be 2 stones, and Stewart could get Colton to run the blue one back instead of a yellow rock.
Certainly, at the men's game at this level, they don't mind calling those run backs. Doesn't
No,
matter
not at all.
how long they are or how far out in front. So you can't afford to be off too much when you're throwing your guards or leaving them that easy run back, because they'll try them and they'll make them.
So Cameron McKenzie here. Cameron actually used to curl with Stewart. I know little facts about some of these teams because I know them pretty well.
I guess you do.
Yeah, he actually used to curl with the 2 brother skips that are out there, Kendall and Stewart, and they went to junior nationals in 2011 together. Stewart had a couple extra years in juniors and found out that he was skip material after that. He played lead for Kendall, and now it's a
little brotherly competition.
And Cameron actually
there.
also used to play with Colton, so there's the 2 teammates that are playing against each other. As you see this one, really nice run.
Run back double made.
It's easier to play the run back on the straight one. You can follow the line a little better. And now there's 3 blue stones out front. So Chad's going to have to make a nice draw and hope that none of those blue stones get promoted onto it. Chad doesn't have much of a choice, doesn't have anything to guard. And he doesn't really want to give up 2 points this end.
No, absolutely not. Just a little surprised. I mean, Chad went in the house with his first one, and then Stewart threw up the corner guard right away.
That's not a surprise at all.
I thought they might have been a bit more, a little more defensive on the first end, but went right after him.
You'll see as we go, as long as he's fairly even, like within a point, he'll play pretty aggressive, and they only really get defensive when they're up a few. Both these teams are actually quite aggressive. Chad, I always joke about them. They tend to use the full amount of their time clock, I guess is the best way to put that. They're never really short on time, but they're usually one of the later teams out on the ice. Lots of discussion, and usually that means there's a little more of an intense situation happening.
We noticed that yesterday. There was several occasions where all 4 players got together and were discussing a shot.
Yeah, they seem to go quickly on most shots, and then they have the time to talk about those other ones that are probably a little more key. So he makes the draw. It's probably only a quarter visible from the hack. So I think the run back is the call here.
Still the opportunity for Stewart to get his deuce if he makes the run back straight back.
Yeah, and there's a few places for the raised stone to hide as well.
Absolutely. If he rolls one way or the other, absolutely.
Exactly. So this isn't up weight like Colton was throwing. A little less. They're trying to control the line more. But it's now taken off.
There's the break Chad was looking for in the first end. We'll throw another guard up there and try and either steal his one or force Stewart to take his one.
And Colton's were running a little straight. And they were calling very tight ice. And Stewart threw less weight on that one to try and stick the shooter. I assume that was the reason for that. You can stick the shooter with big weight, but there's
you have a lot less room for error with that big weight.
Yeah, if you hit it on an angle and it gets raised and doesn't quite nut, then your shooter's probably gone. So he played that with softer weight. But I think we're getting, teams are noticing that it's straight on the wings, but we're getting a little bit more curl around that center line, which is where he threw that. And more curl to the wings as well. So from the center line out, like drawing around a corner guard, you'll get a little better curl than you will drawing around a center guard. So this is Chad's last in the first. He's just guarding his nicely placed first stone that's on the top 4 foot.
In yesterday's game, Chad had his draw way down right from the get-go. He's facing a lot of rocks and a lot of ends and made a lot of draws just to stay with Kendall.
They're working to keep this moving to try and to get the last bit of curl out of it and maybe tick and get the roll. So
a little added pressure here for Stewart.
Yeah, it turned out to be pretty good, even though it was wide. They made the sweep call early. Cameron in the house and Chad throwing. I think it's probably Cameron in the house making that call.
And now it's biting the 12th. So Chad Stevens sitting 2 rocks here in the first end.
Yeah, it's they didn't. I don't think they wanted to bring.
I don't think so either. But sometimes you don't have a choice.
Given where it was, and a little extra weight ran straight, but they got the wick. So this is actually a shot for the blank.
Absolutely, yeah.
You can hit it a couple ways. You can hit it on the center line side or the high side. And you'll probably see a little more weight on this one than the first.
Need to curl up a little bit.
So he got his last one to curl too much and this one not enough. So that'll be a steal 1, Chad Stevens. They'll lead 1-0 after 1. Thompson will retain the hammer. So that'll be a spot we want to watch because 2 very different weights on those and very different reactions from the rocks. Would have been hard to call a lot less ice on that, I think.
I think so too,
You gotta believe what's happening.
how's the Scotties going, Selena?
Well, there are 4 draws in, and no one is undefeated.
Okay.
Actually, they might not be. I think McDermott might be undefeated. I take that back. We'll let you look it all up. I think McDermott, if they are, they're the only team that's undefeated
McDermott's
at
still
4-0. Had a couple big games yesterday. They were losing. I was watching against the junior team, La Douceur.
All right.
La Douceur is 0-4. You wouldn't believe it from watching the games they played. Took it down to Last Rock against Pinckney last night, and we're actually winning against McDermott. McDermott had an excellent 10th end and stole a couple
stole 3,
points.
to win that game.
And then 2 teams at 3-1. That's Brothers and Arsenault. So we'll watch those teams when they play each other. And then a couple Jones and Pinckney at 2-2.
Same thing on the women's side. The top 3 teams make the playoffs.
Yeah, it's a big deal to finish first in the round robin. You do get the bye to the final, so that's what all these teams are looking for. And if that's out of sight, then they really want to hang on to that second or third
spot,
place.
exactly. Yes, sort of a modified page playoff format. And second end, same as the first. Chad Stevens brings his first rock into the house, and Stewart throws up the corner guard.
And then the guard. So it can, sometimes feel a little bit boring, and you see the same shot over and over.
Not at all. Not
it's
at all.
the misses that make it interesting, and the interesting shots that are played, because it's never quite the same. As much as it's the same as the last end. That rock isn't perfectly on the center line, and the corner guards,
different
halfway.
positions and different rock shot calls. Absolutely.
Have you been enjoying the game so far?
Loving them.
There's been some awesome shot making out there.
It's easy to be a fan of the sport.
It's really funny. I was doing, as we're watching Kelly's guard come in, looks like a good one. I did a couple games with some, we'll call them curling novices. One of my colleagues, I work with my real estate business partner, and of course, actually one of my clients who offered to come and help. She said, I don't know anything about curling, but we're willing to help. And it's really nice to have the newer people come out. They don't know the same type of strategy that you and I know. But it's so funny throughout the game. They kept saying, "Oh, this is more interesting than I thought." They thought they were
there you go. You get
just in for it easy.
Get some new fans out there. Well done.
Exactly. Hopefully they're watching too on Bell 5 TV1. So that freeze from Taylor, a little light, doesn't quite make the rings. So Chad seeing this as a nice opportunity to double or triple guard, really. But he can't leave that blue stone open. This needs to be kind of splitting the center line. The blue stone is a great
rock for Stewart to promote up later in the end.
If you're going to miss on a shot like that, I suppose you have to miss light. Heavy doesn't help so much.
That's true, yeah.
So they just want this one to get over the line, the hog line, and then they will stop sweeping. They don't want it to over curl, and that looks pretty good. Maybe over curled
just a bit.
bit.
Yeah.
I think you go for it. If you can raise your own, it's great. And if you tick the top one, that's
fine too.
Yeah. Stewart's eyeing a double peel. Not wrong either, so you have to hit it just high a nose. This is definitely a better way. If you miss that little raise, the reason I might play the raise is you can achieve a soft weight peel.
Right.
This is the double peel, which is a certain way to score.
Keep the front of the house open up a little bit. Oh, look at that! What a great result for Stewart.
Well, I guess that's why they're here and I'm not.
I'm not sure he was anticipating that, but maybe he was.
Yeah, I think they were just going for the double peel, but sometimes with him I never know. Like, he won't necessarily tell his team. But that is the call. I'll maybe give him the benefit of the doubt on that one. A lot of these players, they know the angles and are very, very
exactly.
good at knowing exactly where you have to hit the stone to make something like that. I guess it could have been plan B too, double
Exactly.
peel, or you
or
get the
this,
one
exactly,
on the back.
depending on which side of that rock you're able to hit.
So Ian Jerling here. He told me actually it's Yerlink, but everyone says Jerling.
Yeah, sir. It's funny because Dan was saying Ian Yerlink yesterday. I didn't correct him because I thought it was Jerlink as well, but that's
And
what
Ian actually
wants.
did. I asked him, and I said, "What is it?" And he actually gave me the whole background, and a couple years ago. So don't ask me to repeat it.
No, that's
But
fine.
he did say it's Yerlink,
Okay.
but yeah, everyone I know says Jerling.
We've Canadianized it on him.
So Ian made the hit. It's the control zone, really, that space in front of the rings where it's beneficial to have your stone sitting. So removing the blue, replacing it with a yellow. But I think they're going for the come around.
It looks that
here.
way, yep. Try and set themselves up for their deuce.
Not curling a lot over that center line until it crosses. So they're waiting for it. Line looks pretty good. And then we'll see Colton go on the inside to try and get the extra curl out of this stone. And try and keep it moving. They really want to get this buried. And they got it mostly buried, I have to say. It looks pretty good. Probably a piece visible from the hack.
I think they probably would like to have that another foot or 18 inches deeper.
Yeah, it's that last little bit of curl that really gets...
to make the difference, to bury it or
Gets it
to
buried.
bury it or not, especially with those staggered guards out front.
Well, and if we're looking at the line and seeing Stuart was holding his broom just on the right side of center, and with 100 feet it only moved a rock and a half, then it's really hard to expect
Yeah.
it to move another rock once it passes the guard. So this one, Cameron throwing, had to start on a little tighter to center, so they get the curl earlier, but looks okay.
Going to get a piece in. They might roll behind their own. Oh, they'll over roll, but I think it might be exposed.
The important thing was to get that blue stone
Absolutely,
out
yeah.
of the rings. Now Stuart might just go and call that draw again. This is his way to get two. If he hits the back one, he's probably going to get forced. It's a little bit clustered out front. I actually kind of like this call better. You do have the second corner guard. This one's higher. He just thinks this is a better place to get buried. It'll curl a little more, so that's the reason for going back to the original call. I like the other one just because you have more room to get by the guard, and
Right.
if it's open and Chad's team tries to hit it, it might jam on the back yellow.
I think you give that a little extra push there at the end.
Yeah, a little extra on release, but sometimes what that does is it actually makes the rotation a bit less. I think they're playing for the wick off the yellow at this point. 'Cause it's pretty full on the yellow
they need
right
that
now.
to come off that.
You'll see them go crazy to try and get it in. That actually works okay.
Chad's got a couple of options here, I would think. He's sitting one right now.
Yeah, he just indicated 1, 2, 3, or the back yellow, and then the blue, and then the other yellow.
Yeah.
So he's got to think for a bit because his yellow's wide open and his blue's second shot. So they're promoting this center line yellow.
He's got a great opportunity to force the force here. If he happens to split that on and rolls a shooter on, he keeps sitting 3. Not going to get the roll, but they are going to get the promotion.
Now the raised stone, they want that to stay behind the corner guard. They would like to raise it straight back too. Lots of options on that.
It's still pretty much buried. Probably can't see a whole lot of it, but
They called back line, so I went to the split early and then I think it's gone. No, it was pretty good, I thought.
Stuart could probably come down and corner freeze with that one, could he, Selena? I don't know if that's
Yeah,
right or not.
I like sheet C because I can hear what they're saying. So the super
Okay.
set back line on Cameron Stone there. So that's why Chad was playing for the split. But then might have been A-okay. Turned out okay the way it is. So Stuart's just trying to think of a way. He's always thinking of his way to get 2 points. That yellow stone in front of the rings is hurting them, so I think that's the reason for playing on it, even though he can see that yellow that was raised. Oh, a little sliver, not as much as I thought. He doesn't really want to double this onto his blue with the shooter. but this is a way to open up the front and get a double. And we are down to Skip Stones after this. It's been a fast end.
It has been. Lots of weight here. Colton. Great. Double asked for and double made.
Made and roll the shooter out. That's what the benefit of that big weight that this team throws. Or Colton in particular, I suppose, is the better way to put it. He throws the most. You can get a lot done. That was a really nice shot.
Yeah, that's two big weight shots, two big weight doubles, and 2 ends for the Thompson team.
So Chad still sitting 1 though. Still looking for that force. He just would like to make the draw. He's drawing around a quarter guard, so it's a force because the center's open.
Yeah.
Stewart will likely have a shot for the single. Would love to have one for the double, but Chad's going to try and sit 2 here, buried. So they're waiting for the curl. Kelly's on the inside to get the curl.
You can hear Stevens encouraging them.
Looks pretty good to me.
He's probably, I would say, at least a third exposed on the outside there, but no, not. I think that's the exact same spot as the last rock.
The other one maybe was a little bit higher in the rings. So Stewart needs to think, okay, how do I get 2? Probably not going to score with that top 12-foot stone.
Biter, no.
So the freeze is the call here. If he can corner freeze the yellow, he can sit on the 4-foot. And you have the draw on the other side as well.
Yes.
I just think Chad just threw it. He got good movement there, and you just have more room to get shot. This way, you get buried. It's great. But you're probably going to be back house, and Chad can shut it down by freezing. He seems to really like this.
Yeah, he sure does. That's
twice that's been the option, and played this one instead of the other. So the draw to sit 1 behind the staggered corner situation. This one's wider than the other draws that we had here. They wanted to get this close to the guard. Supers want to go because it's light, which means it will curl, but
coming up light.
Don't even know if they got shot out of that. It's a piece buried, but
definitely not shot. I think they might be second. Just
yeah,
look here. Oh yeah, they're definitely second shot.
Oh, okay, so I was gonna say if it's not second shot, I'll ignore it, but you can't really ignore it now. He's gonna try and get a big enough chunk of it, which you can see. You can see a fair amount of that stone. Half at least.
Yeah, probably maybe a little more than that, Selena.
So if you could see less, he'd probably be risking kind of running into his own, but in this case, I think he can see enough to make a roll to the center line, choke things off. It's been a well-played end from Team Stevens. And they're by. Early sweep to make sure. That was a very nice shot.
Sitting 3. Put the pressure on Thompson here in the second end. Great spot for that rock to finish too, because if Thompson happens to nose that, then Stevens still sitting 2. So
Exactly. So he's forced to play the draw, and it's not an easy one. You have a little bit of backing, but of course with extra weight we've seen on this ice, it will track and not curl. We saw that happen to Chad's in the last end with the guard. They got a little lucky and ticked, and in this case, Stewart will be looking to come around, and he can use that stone as backing, but he's probably only going to throw T-line weight and let the sweepers take it.
Well, then he has the same drive.
Last rock, second end. Draw for 1. Tough draw for 1.
yep, facing 3. A little bit of pressure on him here early.
Sweepers wanted to take it. Looks pretty good. Really nice. Well managed rock. So that'll be a single, tie things up. 1 apiece. Stevens versus Thompson. Stevens will have hammer for the first time, playing the third end here at the 2018 Deloitte Tankard at the Dartmouth Curling Club. And of course, you're watching on Bell 5 TV1. If you are so inclined to come out and watch the games, you can see 4 at once instead of just 1, maybe 2 if you're flipping back and forth. We've got Dan and Pam over on the other sheet. So
Pam Sullivan, yep.
if you don't like Selena and Jeff, you can go over to Dan and Pam.
Well,
They've got the McDougall-Fleming game, which is also tied at 1, playing the third. Greg Power, 1-0 over Kendall Thompson, playing the third. And Mark Dacey's just throwing a very tough shot for a single. And
looks like Murphy is stealing 1 for sure, and they're looking to see if it's a steal of 2.
So it'll either be 2-0 or 3-0 Murphy over Dacey after 2 ends.
Lots of experience on that sheet of ice. Lots of experience on every sheet. Of course, Dacey being the former Briar champion.
Yeah, once you win, that never leaves you, does it?
It never does. I wouldn't know, but you certainly would on the provincial side of things.
Yeah, I think National's a little different, though.
Listen,
it's one thing to win the province.
Well, you know what? I think that's fantastic. That'll stay with you as well.
It's pretty special. I don't play in the women's division, although we do play these teams a lot. We play in the Travelers and had our nationals in November.
You guys had a great run.
We did. It's pretty special, and that's what all these teams are playing for. I don't want to diminish that to wear your provincial colors at a national championship is still
it's a huge honor.
Pretty cool.
Doubt. Yeah.
It's not for the money, that's for sure. So Senegar goes up from Taylor Ardeal, and I do have to say hi, in case you didn't already, to his mother, Lynn.
I did not.
Who is watching in Alberta. I can guarantee that she was up earlier than me this morning. And she has a 3-hour time difference, so it is only 6:30.
Well, I have to apologize because I think I called him Ardeal Taylor earlier instead of Taylor Ardeal, so my apologies to Taylor's mom. Well, that was an interesting call from Stevens to go around the center guard to bringing play right to the center line right off the get-go.
Yeah, Chad's not usually one to put up that corner guard right away. And the center guard actually was a little offset, so good chance to come around. It went to the button, which you think, oh, it's great. I covered the pin on my shot, but it's a little deep. So the freeze there from Taylor. And now it's going to be probably a series of come-arounds from the two teams before one decides to make a play on things. They're going to try and set up the angles that favor them. And then, of course, the other team will try and set up the angles the other way. So as the stone from Kelly Middlestat comes down the sheet, you might have missed some of our banter earlier. We'd like to thank everyone for tuning in here to the 2018 Deloitte Tankard. We have worked to resolve the issues. If you had any issues with the stream, thank you for being patient with us and for watching. Hopefully you're getting the picture great now. So we are in the third end of Stuart Thompson versus Chad Stevens. Stuart Thompson throwing the blue rocks, Chad Stevens with the yellow. And the first end was Stevens just protecting a stone in the rings, and a series of runbacks by Team Thompson resulted in a steal. Didn't quite make the last one for the blank. So that was a steal of one for Team Stevens in the first. And then in the second end, it was more of the same. Team Stevens protecting their buried stones, and it came down to a draw on Stuart's last, and he made it to the 4 foot, a difficult draw. So we are all tied up after 2 ends. Hopefully that gives you the update. We did see Kelly Middlestat's second stone there also go deep to the back 12. So back up to speed, and Travis Coulter here, second for Team Thompson. So we'll give you a reintroduction of the players as we go through as well.
Early on this end, it's an opportunity for Stuart Thompson to put some pressure on Chad, trying to keep him at his one or steal one himself.
And I know someone's watching from home, Tamara McKenzie, or Mackenzie Chisholm actually. So she's Cameron's sister, and she says hi. And Cameron's 2 nephews, Ethan and Jack, are at home watching as well, although they may not understand what's happening. Hi, Ethan. Hi, Jack.
Hi, boys. Hopefully they're not school age and they're not home not home from school sick or anything like that.
No, they're too young.
Too young,
they're
okay.
not in school yet.
There you go. There you go. Nice double peel by Stevens there.
Yeah, they have hammer, so they don't want to any kind of mess around the center line. That's the reason for the peel.
Thompson will endeavor to put that center line card back up, I would think. Those rocks that are in the house right now are lined up pretty good for Stuart. If it gets down to later in the end, he can certainly promote his blue one into that yellow one if the opportunity is there, and put some added pressure onto Chad Stevens. The guard back up front, and here comes Stevens to remove it again.
You can see how things are going to go here. Stuart's happy to keep putting that guard up and guard the situation. Yellow shot, but
yeah, it's very precarious as it where it is.
Not going to be there forever. At some point, and I think both teams may not know at this point when they're going to do it. Team Thompson will promote the blue onto the yellow and sit 2. For now, they're happy to guard. You wait for it till later. You don't do it right away.
No. Stevens just needs to be a little careful when he's removing that guard. He wouldn't want to drive it back onto his own one and help the Thompson team out by removing his own stone. So for that reason, I think that's why the Thompson team will try to keep that rock on the high side of the center line.
Yeah, they're okay leaving their stone exposed, but they don't want to leave the corner that could be removed
picked
or
out,
picked
exactly,
out exposed. So this this works.
Great
And they're
shot.
probably kind of hoping Chad will leave that alone, but I don't think he will.
Chad wouldn't be totally upset if he ran it straight back and cleared everything off.
You can hit more than half a rock with that weight and still lose your shooter. So easy there for Cameron. I think we're getting to decision time.
Yep.
If it's not on this stone, it might be
Nate's last
on
rocks
the
here
next,
right now.
I think you do have to wait
I think
until
from,
last.
I think from Stewart's perspective, the longer you can wait, the better.
I think at some point, though, Chad's going to say, okay, you still put up a guard, now I'm going to guard, and then there's no way. He's just protecting his single. So it's just a thought about that. Do you go on the skips first, the mates last, the skips last? It's you're always trying to figure out what the other team's going to do, too, because they can really screw you over. And I think that's why they're also leaving that side exposed, because if Chad does put a second guard up, at least they'll have a side exposed to pick or play some sort of weight.
Especially with the way these guys can play the run back. If Chad can't take away every angle.
Now this is interesting because that stone went into the rings. So instead of straight peel, like you would do if it were a guard, Cameron can hit this and roll into the rings. And so that makes it even more of a pressure situation because if the two in the center go away, Chad scores 2.
Yep. Oh, they're just trying to keep this straight. That's over curling on them. Can we get some action in the rings here?
So that is not what the call was.
No.
Just over curled. Looked to be maybe lightweight. It was just board weight.
Yeah, it wasn't a whole lot of weight.
Did get was moving, 3 stones, so it's not, might have played a little more than board. And I don't know what Chad had asked for in terms of weight. Maybe more of a control. Really took off on him. So, Team Thompson sits 2. They didn't have to make that shot. So this is totally unexpected for them. They would not have been planning on this.
Exactly, yeah. And that's the beauty of the sports, Lena, because one shot can change an end.
Yeah, you're right.
You make, and your plans change from shot to shot. So
there are 2 yellows at the back of the rings, not in great scoring position, but
in the rings,
this case, if those blues, if there's a run on the yellow and those blues can be doubled off, yellow will score 2. So what I think is happening here is Stewart's just promoting this stone to get it back toward the 12-foot and have 3 blues in the rings, but try and get separation from them too. And maybe it seems crazy to get separation by promoting one of them, actually making the rocks hit each other, but I think that's the call here. So teams always look for what the other team has, and you try and make the next shot as difficult as possible.
certainly an interesting call. That's more of a defensive call, I would think, if that's the shot.
It is defensive. You're sitting 3.
It doesn't look like he's got the weight to do that.
Yeah, it looks like a guard almost. And I could be totally wrong. I thought they'd be promoting it. And
They're bringing it in. You're right.
yeah, they need to get it by that top one, though. So did they leave something for Chad? I think if you hit the blue, you can get all...
You could get all 3 moving.
All 3 moving. You've got to really skinny that guard. If you wreck on the guard, it's bad.
Yeah. I don't know if he needs... I don't think he needs to get to the nose of that one, though. I think if he hits it probably at about 2 o'clock, he might drive that one that's on the button onto the blue one. Sort of.
Yeah. Might nut into it, but at least then you've eliminated the stones on the 4-foot.
And at that point, exactly behind the tee line.
Yeah.
And
so to be clear there, Stuart didn't want that one to curl as much as it did. He didn't want to roll under the top 8-foot, 4-foot stone.
I'm a little surprised that he came that deep into the house, though, with the called shot. I would have thought he would have thrown something up front and high. And
A guard works, but if Chad ever made a tap or run on the yellow that's tight to the rings, then he would be effectively blocking his own path into the 4-foot. So I think that's the reason for the call into the rings, to sit 3 and prevent a multiple score, but that definitely over-curled and left Chad a shot. So here we go, Chad Stevens on his first. Cameron doesn't like the line. You can hear him saying, whoa.
A piece of it,
But you can see, you know, shooter stuck around. They got it tight to that guard. It did make contact, removed one of the blue stones.
No,
Blue still sits 2.
But they're both doubleable for.
They're doubleable.
I
I was wondering yesterday if that was a word. And I said it's not, but in curling everyone knows
vernacular, it's certainly, I'm using it, so.
Yeah, we'll have to say something like, the double is available. They're doubleable.
Doubleable.
I think this is just a draw.
I would think, just to try to come behind that guard. And
Chad makes the double, which he probably won't play if this draw is made.
No.
Yeah.
This
is the 4th shot.
Yeah, this definitely has to get in the rings. Definitely has to be first, second, or third. Doesn't look like they're trying to come around the guard. Looks like they're going to try and leave it exposed on the right side and protect those two back there. But you don't want to come too deep and then leave Chad a triple. Okay, they're changing the call now. Now they're going to try and go behind that guard.
So they're going to try and get a piece of this tucked under the front yellow. Although sweepers aren't touching it, looks like it's all there. They didn't want this to be back behind the tee line, but
No.
I think it's there all on its own. Oh, and it just is going to grind. So the question is, if Chad hits that, does he get one? Probably not. I think it stopped just in time.
Yeah, he's got to make the double to get one for sure.
Well, I think just a straight draw. If you make the double, your
Think you're rolling away?
your stone rolls away. Yeah. The closer stone to tee, the closer blue stone to tee, is higher. So you would make the double hitting that one first, and I think your shooter definitely will roll too far.
If he nosed it, though, I think you'd get them both going, wouldn't he?
Oh, knows the
top one.
The top blue. Sorry, I was looking at the back double and going, what are you talking about, Jack?
That happens a lot in my house.
Yes. No comment. All girls.
But it looks like they're just playing straight draw.
Yeah.
If he gets down to that back one, he'll be.
If you play the top one and he just nose and it doesn't catch the back one,
you're giving up one.
You're giving up one,
Yeah.
and if you miss that in any way, which is a tough shot, then you give up. So just play the draw. They have backing in this case.
And Chad's an experienced curler. He's had draw weight for the games that I've seen anyway. That's hanging on them a little bit. They're waiting for it to move.
The weight's there. Now they need it to
Just come to a halt.
stop on its own.
Yep.
Ooh, it's going to be close.
enough.
It might be blue, actually. I'm not sure. Oh, it looks yellow
gonna
on
say
one
yellow.
screen. It looks blue on the other screen. I don't know.
We had an interesting call yesterday. There was 2 rocks covering the pin. They couldn't measure.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah.
It was
Took probably about 7.
Kendall Thompson and
Chad
Chad.
Stevens,
Yeah.
So it took 7 or 8 minutes. Umpires were out there, and then they finally decided that one rock was closer than the other. But
yeah, it does go to a visual if you can't get the measuring device in.
Yep.
And they use a cool laser system here. They triangulate from the button, and there's extra holes. I don't know how it works.
I thought at that point they were just going to call a blank end because they were that close and it took that long to make the decision.
If all your players, by my opinion in this case, players are looking at it and can't tell, just put the stick on it.
Yep. And that's what they're doing here. The overhead, to me, looks like it's yellow, but...
it really looks like yellow on one overhead, but on our camera screen here...
Oh, yes, I see. Yeah, it looks very much closer.
Yeah, so
I'm still saying...
Reserve judgment.
Nope,
Okay,
nope,
Selena reserve judgment.
I'm going out on a limb. I'm saying yellow.
Jeff says yellow. So you think Chad made the shot?
Unless he didn't, then I'm going to say it's blue. No, I'm sticking with it. I won't fudge.
Well, you can't. You have it on record now. All the viewers know. So while the measure's being taken, I did get another message saying hi to Tamara and the boys in Truro, and now Gma in Alberta is up. That's she's cheering too.
Well, that's
so we got
great.
a couple
We're
Albertans
right across the country this morning. I love it.
Oh, it is that close. I think this is time number 2, is it not?
Nope.
Oh, it's only the first. Okay. Too busy reading. It is yellow. Oh, Jeff, you were right.
There we go. My eyes haven't deceived me yet.
So we'll say, Chad, great shot. And scores 1 there, facing 3. So excellent shot. Stevens leads 2-1.
Little score update from Sheet B. Murphy is taking a 3-0 lead on Dacey. They're playing the 4th end. A battle of 2-1 teams on B.
And is it battle of 1 and 2 teams on D? I think both those teams are McDougall and Fleming.
I think Fleming's winless, to be honest with you, Selena. I think he's 0-3.
No, they. Fleming is 0-3. Sorry, McDougall's 1 and 2.
McDougall's 1 and 2. Then you have Power at 0-3 playing Kendall, who's 3-0 on sheet E.
And Power's winning up 2-0.
Chad's first rock, they threw center line guard. Looks like Thompson's going to throw a corner guard maybe. Giddy up, and here we go.
And the corner guard. So oftentimes I think in the first end you were a little surprised with the aggressive corner guard, but there it is again.
There it is again.
Taylor's used to throwing those first drop corner guards. Quite finished behind the guard, so it's available for a hit.
A little full, but it was a big gap. I was like, don't take the coach.
Chad just talking about his last shot.
Well, that's a good skip too.
You won't find much more of a boisterous guy than
Oh no, he's
Stevens.
very colorful and very emotional on the ice, which I quite enjoy
That's
seeing.
a beautiful roll there from Taylor Ardeal. Really soft weight, and you do have to play that on this ice. It's straight going to the center line. But the teams are figuring it out as they play more and more. They won't get to play the same color rocks twice, but they will get to play most sheets 2 times.
2 times, yeah. They do change the colors, do they, on them?
Yes. So cruel. It's just so that no team has an advantage in terms of having thrown that color before if they happen to be playing a team that hasn't played on that sheet before.
Guys are really working this one.
So it will nibble the rings, but doesn't quite make it to the freeze position.
Those rocks are staggered now, so a little tougher for Stevens.
So Stewart's going to ignore the situation out front. Asking Travis to make the come around. They're trying to draw play to the wings a little bit. This is what we did see in the second end, this path not curling until it crosses the center line. And looks like there's a little extra weight on this one. Might get there all on its own. Chad's going to try and help it out the back. So
that just kept sliding and sliding and sliding. Wow.
It's more than buried. I think it's poking out the other side. Chad's more concerned about the center and giving up 2 points, but the 2 points really do come from... Oh, it's totally buried. Sorry, I take that back. It's hard to tell from our vantage point here, but that's a really good angle of what you see from the hack. You can't see the blue stones that are in the rings.
Nope. Chad will try to come around those two those 2 yellow guards and try to freeze to that blue one.
Yeah, this is he doesn't have too many options to clear the front. That only really helps Team Thompson. So it's going to be a series of plays to access the 4-foot.
Middlestat and McKenzie really working that. Oh, that just over-curled on them.
They were sweeping for weight, but they had Kelly as the inside sweeper, so that's to get the curl because they were still because of the they were sweeping early. It'll hold it straight. So Kelly was trying to get that curl out of it. It actually didn't curl enough. Normally light and wide isn't a thing, and I don't think Ian would have thrown that wide, but just with that sweeping, it holds it. Does that yellow up top outcount the blue in the back?
I was looking at that at the camera angle, the overhead. There we go. I'm going to say no. I think blue is sitting too.
So they're going to call timeout. This is going to be an interesting end because we're still on second stones, but I think Team Thompson's kind of eyeing the chance for
there's some run
for
back.
a good end.
Yeah, but there's some run back options there for Chad
But
too.
Chad has a tenuous chance
Yeah.
for multiple points. It's not like you got a corner guard with 3 buried behind it or anything like that.
And here we have the whole total team discussion again. All 4 guys up at the rings.
They're just Chad's got a couple run backs there, and if the yellow is counting the blue, they'd like to deal with it. I think opening up the center is actually going to help them. I mean, you secure your ability to score at all, but score a couple with that.
Who on Stewart's team does he defer to when it comes to these kind of discussions, would you say the most?
It's usually Colton. Colton's a former skip in the junior ranks. And it really is a team discussion with these guys, though. Like, they're all very knowledgeable about the game, so they would just point out the pros and cons of every shot. But if you to pick someone who will defer to, it would be Colton in this case. But ultimately, if the skip's not comfortable with it, it's probably not going to be called. So they've swapped it up. They're not going to clear the front. It's tough because you could run. Chad can run the Yellowstone that's open with nothing behind it back, no matter what. So they were looking at hitting that, but then it kind of exposes their stone. So they're going to choose to leave the guards and use them to their advantage and hit the high side of this blue stone and promote it, probably just to the top 12. But then if any yellows run back, it hits this stone instead of the shot.
Shot rock. Rock position is so crucial at this level. With the way these guys can make backs the angles and everything, it's you got to be really particular where your rock finishes.
This will be close. I think that's pretty good. Now you see if the open yellow is run back onto anything.
I think he's got some
Then it's only going to be onto a piece of a blue.
Yeah.
I just have to.
It's almost a little pocket there for Chad. If he can run that one that's the yellow that's on the center line back on an angle, he could, with the right weight.
So my friend Joey Arthur, he's watching. Hi, Joey. He sent me a note. Longtime Colton Steele supporter. So he's cheering Team Thompson, I believe, unless things have changed. He just sent me a note to the Wiktionary entry for doubleable. The etymology comes from the base double and the, I don't know what it is, able, which is an add-on. And so it is an adjective, doubleable.
Oh, very good.
Capable of being doubled. Thank you, Joey.
Well, thanks, Joey.
And he likes our commentating, so I have to say that too.
Well, Joey's awesome.
We listen to anything you say.
So Mackenzie trying to tap this back on an angle and get it back to that pocket of the blue one. Oh, just not enough. Oh, little rub there, but I think he
A little thin, just rub the top one.
A little light with the weight, I think.
Yeah, so without, and I was saying before, Team Stevens, they don't want to clear the front because that's kind of what's helping them narrow the scoring area. But they're not shot, they're not second shot, and they still have the overlap guards. So
yeah, it's looking tougher for Stevens here to.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for them to force.
The deuce, yeah.
And a team with hammer usually doesn't guard the center line. It's an odd thing when they do, and it's always running through the skip's head going, do I guard? Because Chad will still have a raise on the yellow, so they're not guarding. They'll hit here. They're actually going to try a
double those.
Yeah, remove those guards, but the shooter will stay out front. But it will be blue instead of yellow, which may come into play and help them later in the end. This is a lot of weight here. And so they've cleared things very effectively. Cold Steel once again. I think that's time number 3. He's made some sort of a run and doubled and lost a shooter. So opened up the scoring area. Now Chad, that's what Chad didn't want to do, like we were saying.
It does afford Chad the opportunity now to promote that yellow one onto a blue one and get rid of one of them.
Definitely. So what he's trying to do here is remove. I don't think he can remove both of these blues with one shot. Stuart's hoping the yellows to sit 3 for blue, but Chad's going to try and have Cameron raise his yellow, remove the blue, and I think roll the shooter behind the guard. There is a yellow guard. You can see by the L in Deloitte. Our title sponsor. May as well mention that.
Absolutely. Get both those blues moving if he just gets this one off nose. Pretty much where the broom is. If he hits the rock where the broom is. Might get them both moving.
Close. They're playing for the roll. They know the blue will be gone.
Nice.
Very good shot there. So Cameron says, Colton, you make one good one. Well, I'll make one just as good back. That was very nice. Stuart trying to see if you...
For me, Selena, I guess, that's why I wasn't a big fan of them clearing off the front, but...
Well, it's flat. There is a shot here. Just because the one that you'll hit first is, the yellow that you'll hit first is lower, so it's further into the rings. It makes the roll have to be very flat to try and side the other 8-foot yellow behind the guard. But Team Thompson doesn't really have access to it at this point. So, and you're going to lose if you make that roll over and kind of chip the yellow behind the guard sideways. You probably are hitting it so thick that you lose your back blue. But if you hit it thinner and roll the 4-foot, you might keep the blue. So there's a couple things here. I think it's just going to be rock placement now to try and keep a blue in the 4-foot, and that'll be the chance for the 2. It's been a very interesting end so far.
Very interesting, yes. Yep.
Probably eating up their time on the time clocks. Yep.
They certainly are down to just over 22 minutes for the Thompson
Yeah,
team.
they're all still okay for time.
Yeah. I don't think the time clock really enters into it until late in the game when they're looking at it.
No, you just want to make sure. So there's 38 minutes, and you want to make sure that you have about half of that. Now, Team Thompson has used the timeout. They're another team that actually does take a lot of discussion and take time to call the game. This is a softer weight hit and roll. So they've elected to try and keep the 2 blues in the 4-foot shot.
It's got to come across the center line a little bit.
Has to hit a bigger piece of the yellow to stick around, though. So they will sit 2. A little thicker and only roll behind the yellow instead of so far back, but it does the trick, I think. I don't think Chad has a double now. It's even more flat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Than the last.
No double there at all. But he can hit and roll, but of course he'd be behind the line. So
Colton just questioning, did the weight come off? Is it being dragged off as the rock goes down the sheet? He felt like he threw more weight than Hack. My team, I don't know if it's just mine. I think Stuart does this too. You've got backline weight and you got hack weight and board weight. And if it stops in between the backline and the hack, what do you think we call it?
Backline and hack.
We call it hack line weight. Oh, man. Sorry, everybody.
You should apologize. You should apologize.
It's a very good description for a stone that just makes it, past the back
Past the back line, but not quite to the hack.
To the hack. It's hack line weight. There's no line, but that's what we're calling it. So Chad's making the hit roll here.
You're rolling the other way.
And that'll nose. Does the trick, though, because you can see what happens here. If Stuart noses, Chad has a double, and he will be 2 buried. Actually, sit 3, 2 of them behind the guard. So do you play the roll toward the guard to sit 2 and try and get 3?
Or do you roll roll the other way, just to bite the 4?
Yeah, you chance being forced, I think, if you roll toward the guard.
Yeah, the roll could be very precise. Actually, not that precise. You still have half the 8-foot that you're dealing with. So, but if you're behind the tee line, that gives Stevens a chance to come down to it.
I know that people are watching because they're telling me to hack line weight. That brings you all out of the woodwork.
Thank you to the viewers. But I'm sure I'm going to be using that term with my girls' team.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Coming with the out turn.
So I don't know. I didn't see which roll they're playing.
I think they're trying to roll towards the
aggressive roll.
guards, but not going to do it. There you go.
So they'll nose. You see the double that's left?
That's what you said earlier. So
I saw Taylor's that curled there. Like, it didn't curl a lot. I don't look
Both teams just had different reactions on the rocks playing across the center line, so it would have been the reason that Stewart played the in turn, the outside in. But Chad's going to play this turn, the out turn. This is going to get you the most action when you go for this double, and he'll be throwing some weight on this just to make sure. Too thick, the shooter can roll over.
Boys trying to keep it straight here.
It'll be close. And I think didn't make the double, but I think it's good enough to sit one and leave the draw for a single. Actually almost hit that so thick that he rolled over the top, but
back, yeah, we're back. Backed up on him.
There's no shot for two. I think the blue's out counting one of the yellows, but not both.
Well, you know what?
Maybe
I
not
disagree
both.
with you.
Oh.
I
Camera angles look different everywhere you look.
I think yellows too.
On our, so the viewers can't see. We have a separate camera here that's the club cameras, and it looks more like it's two yellow.
Yeah.
So,
but regardless, one or two really doesn't matter because it's a draw for one.
Either way, it's a draw for one. Needs 4 foot here. Sweepers on off. They don't seem to mind it. They'll just take it at the end. They just need to bite the 4 foot. Looks like it'll be pretty good on its own. Cameron will not make much of an effort to. That'll be one blue, and we have a tie game again after 4. 2-2. Stevens with hammer in 5. These are 10-end games in case you are tuning in for the first time. We'll have a break after this 5th end, about 5 minutes.
Just hope that for the Thompson team, they don't look back on that end opportunity. You know, they were sitting 2 in the 4 foot with a whole bunch of guards out front and decided to clear those off. And I know that, you know, they were more worried about Chad making a run back, but
yeah, it's hard, and it goes to the style of play the team prefers. They like to leave themselves a shot. Sometimes it doesn't work so well if you don't have anything. And on Stewart's first, really, he did have a chance to hit and roll sideways, just didn't happen to get the roll. So they did have the chance for the 2, but I think your point is maybe they could have scored more.
I think they are at least giving themselves a chance. I think once you the front, you open up the opportunity for Stevens to do exactly what they did.
Yeah, you definitely do. And Cameron made a beautiful shot. You have to give him credit.
Oh, absolutely,
for that. Yeah. So it's hard when you're playing against a team that can make shots like that.
Listen,
do you leave them one of them and not the other?
Listen, I make all my shots from up here.
Exactly. And it's in curling there is no right and
That's
wrong.
right. There's no right or wrong.
If you're down a bunch of points and you don't throw a guard, I mean, maybe most people would say that's wrong, but there's lots of cases where it's to your discretion.
Yeah. Sometimes you can do what is considered the wrong thing and still end up coming out on top. So it's, you know, like just a matter of opinion and lots of discussion.
So you're hearing Jeff Fitzgerald. I'm Selena Thompson. You're watching Bell 5 TV1 and the 2018 Deloitte Tankard, the Men's Provincial Curling Championships. Winner goes to the Brier. That's March 3rd to March 11th, and it's in Regina, Saskatchewan at the Brandt Center.
Little scoring update from Sheet B. Murphy stole another one on Dacey. He's up 4-0 after 4 ends, playing the 5th. Sheet D. We have Brett McDougall up 4-1 on Mike Fleming. That game being called by Dan Hobson and Pam Sullivan over on the other station. If you're so inclined to switch, I hope you don't.
And I just saw Brent make a nice run back.
And then on sheet E, you have Greg Power still up 2-1 on an undefeated Kendall Thompson. And they're playing the 5th as well. Totally up to date now.
Yeah, we're the slowest game on the sheet, actually, as we were talking about a lot of time eaten up in that last end. I'm going hard on the sweep here to make sure that they don't roll out. I didn't see the call there on the Kelly's for a corner guard?
I think it was for a corner guard, and they slipped in the house.
Slipped in the ring. So now they're going to be likely playing for the blank here. Retain Hammer in the 6th.
Which would be good for the Thompson team. That'll back up some of their time that they've used in the first 4 ends. Bank a little bit. Now Middlestat did roll out on that one, so that's going to give Stewart the opportunity to use that guard out front. Stevens is another barn burner. It's exactly they had a game win yesterday, 1-1-1-1 until the last end when Stewart's brother Kendall took 2 on the 10th to win. I'm sure Chad doesn't want a repeat of that today. Maybe he'll have nightmare. Thompson twins. Well, not twins, I guess, but the Thompson brothers.
Siblings.
The Thompson siblings.
I guess they're brothers. It's only siblings when I'm involved.
Yes, I didn't want to bring it up. I wasn't sure, but that is.
Oh yeah.
It's a family affair here today.
All bias laid out on the table.
Well, there you go. So I have some bias towards the Stevens team too. So there you go.
There you go. Yeah, no one has talked about that, but that is why I did put you on the Stevens game, so you get to watch. So Jeff's daughter Kate plays with Chad's daughter Taylor. Right?
That is correct. Yes. They play with
Rob Moore's daughter Callie.
Yeah, and Cassidy Curry as well.
And Cassidy Curry.
I
don't think Cassidy's parents will do any commentating.
No. The reigning under-18 provincial champions.
They are, yeah, the inaugural national under-18. They were there last year in Moncton. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was
and
great.
they're in playoffs.
They were. They finished 4th in Canada.
I know the feeling.
Lost the bronze medal game on a measurement by about 2 inches.
Oh, we didn't lose on a measurement.
But that's the way the game goes. So they're excited to try and get back here, and as well the Canada Winter Games trials coming up too. So, but we'll get back to our game. They're not talking about ourselves,
our families,
our
and our other accomplishments. I just getting more messages. I love that people are watching. This should be Kim here in Stanhope. She says thanks to the volunteers for making these events happen.
You must have a lot more friends than I do, because nobody's.
Oh yeah, I got all kinds of friends. No, I just know people in the curling community, I think.
Well, Taylor's watching too, because I just got a text from Taylor saying that always have to have faith in her dad. So there we go.
Oh, exactly. She knows best.
Why aren't you in school? That's what I want to know. But anyway, maybe she's watching from school.
She has a free period.
That rock in the house is
spoken like a true dad. Why the heck aren't you in school, Taylor?
Yeah.
All right. We're still on second stones. Ian Sherling. I think we got a little off track because we're noticing this is going to be a fairly open end.
Well, it looks like he's flashed this one.
Ian got that one a bit wide. You can see a piece of the stone, not too much, but you play it with a soft weight and you can get it. So here's where things are going to start to get interesting. Team Stevens would love to blank here, but those blue pants, they're going to try and guard things up. So this one is an over and off, keep it high situation, trying to get the last bit of curl there, that last sweep, just to cover any kind of port that's there. And you can see it's not there.
So Chad's probably going to run something off the front, I would imagine, at this point.
Yeah, it's a double peel for sure. You
Yep.
cross him just as he's indicating, and I think that's probably the best bet.
Oh, look at that. three moving. Look at that.
bonus. So move that stone off the forefoot. That's great. That's going to help their chances. But Stewart's okay with a force here. And he'll ask Colton to put this next stone on the other side of the house. So this is the other way to force a team to a single. If you center guard and a rock in the forefoot, you just put one over on the other side. And then the distance this is in the rings does matter. Team Stevens will make any attempt at a double that they can to remove both blue stones. So this one needs to be, fine. Sweeper's working hard to get that done. Taylor Ardeal, Travis Coulter.
I don't know if he pulled the string on that one or not. Selena with that. I don't think that's going to make it
Needs to get it in the rings
well
at all.
Well short.
So that was definitely guard weight thrown. And Chad for a 2 here. Come around. It is tight to the rings, and we're getting late in the end. So the blank is perfectly acceptable, and they're happy to have a blank and have a 5-end game with hammer
in the sixth, in the even
3
ends.
times versus 2.
I think they want to keep that rock in the rings, but they rolled out, so I suspect Stewart might try to use that guard and try to bury one.
Yeah, it's a tough call, because if you don't make it, you lose a hit and roll. Chad can maybe have a shot at 2 points, so you don't want to give your opponent the only chance at a deuce, but at the same time you want to force them to a single. So the come around is the call. Totally what I would call. I think you probably would too.
Absolutely, yep.
You see that little chance, you get a little mistake from the other team. Cameron made a shot on his first to get them out of big trouble. And then they got the miss from Colton. But just a little roll out leaves an opening to draw and sit a single behind cover. Taylor's on the inside to get the extra curl. They're trying to keep this high in the rings too. They don't want Chad to be able to come down to it.
They pulled the string again. Rings this time, but
so just he's trying to throw them light. So you try to throw Sweeper's weight to get that curl, and they just got to buy the guard. But of course, then when it stops, it hasn't finished curling all the way around. So it is open for Chad. It's a good effort. I mean, he played it the right way, and you don't get that final curl. Chad can see it, so he'll go for the hit here.
see all the other games, their fifth end break, or they're finished their fifth end break.
And we're still playing
We're
5.
still playing 5.
I'm saying, whoa, looks like they do have a good piece of it.
Yeah, and they're going to be able to draw their shooter to the other side and try to.
And they're trying to roll the shooter as far away as possible, but not out of the ring. So it's a tough line call, and made that very nicely.
You want to prevent Stewart from being able to hit and roll behind his own guard there. And
yeah, Chad's a great
on you.
touch shooter. He's all weight. He always, I always see him make those just soft weight shots. It's really nice for your last rock thrower to be able to do. He gets us stretching in between shots. They don't know we're watching everything. So Stewart will be looking for the hit here, but they'd love to get a roll in behind that guard. So they can play this pretty aggressively.
Gonna get a roll. Not quite enough.
And just not all the way. Real close. So some nice shots
Nice try, yeah,
at the
absolutely.
back end of this end. So Chad will play for the blank. Yeah, we're lucky we got the tightest game out on the ice today. for the play on the other sheets, but it's certainly been exciting here on sheet C. It gives our Bell 5 TV1 camera crew some nice work to do too.
Absolutely, yeah. Hopefully keep our viewers entertained and have them return.
So throwing for the blank here, Chad Stevens, Lost Rock, 5th end, tie game versus Thompson.
Oh, this is curling on him.
So they're just making sure. Looks good.
Okay, yeah.
So that'll be the blank there. Chad blanks, keeps it 2-2. We go to the 5th end break. Let's catch you back on Bell 5 TV1 in 5 minutes.
I did not know I said it that loud. That means we do not have to sweep this. But apparently 3 different people from 3 different sheets heard it, so clearly I did it. The camera was sliding on his last. Come here, Jeff.
spot at tee in the 5th inning. Yeah, there was only half a cup left and there was no cups.
We're back. We're back.
We're back. Are we back?
We're back.
Backstreet's back.
At the 2018 Deloitte Tankard. I'm Selena Thompson, joined by Jeff Fitzgerald. It's been a pleasure so far, Jeff.
Absolutely, yes, Selena. Yes, absolutely, a lot of fun.
We've got
great game.
Stuart Thompson, Chad Stevens here on Bell 5 TV1. And tie game. Stevens with hammer, blanking the 5th. So Thompson will be up, and it is lead Taylor Ardeal. Taylor's from Skotoko, a.k.a. Okotoks, Alberta. He was the 2011 Alberta Canada Games winner champion, or Canada Winter Games champion, sorry, and the 2014 Alberta Junior Provincial champion, and happened to win the bronze at Nationals on Team Kyle Morrison. That's the juniors that his skipper Stuart came bronze in the event in 2013, so 1 year later.
Very good. Center guard, and looks like Chad's going to go around it, or ask Kelly to come around it.
And Kelly Middlestad here will reintroduce as well. I think I copied and pasted something for his profile.
I read that.
Anyway.
Yeah, because he definitely wasn't the junior 2013 champion.
Yeah, Kelly's not 24, and he's not the ice maker, the curling club. Yeah, so I had a copy and paste there for Kelly's profile, but what he is a lawyer in Truro.
With how many? He's been to the Briar. How many?
I don't know how many times Kelly's been to the Briar. Lead long time for Ian Fitzner LeBlanc, and
I think he was with
most
Paul
players. Fleming as well. Most players out here have curled with Kelly, I think. Definitely against. He's been around the circuit, and he is one of the hardest working sweepers out there. He always gives it everything. And it's a nice level of experience too for this Chad Stevens team. He doesn't get flustered. He just gets in the hack, makes his shots. So got Taylor's second shot coming down here.
Trying to remove that yellow one. It's going to get by the guard.
Just by. And Kelly got enough of that Yellowstone buried that there was no flop under the guard, but a good shot from Taylor. We're just looking at board weight here to see Chad indicate.
That was that indication from Chad, right? For all our viewers that may not be up on the hand signals that happen on the ice.
And everyone does it different. Chad taps the sideline, which indicates board. Some people hit their hip or bumper for a board or bumper. This one's by the guard. They'd actually like to roll away. They have hammer and want to keep play away from the center line. So instead of trying to stick around on the center line, they'll roll. And, Stuart's not really going to leave that one be, so he'll try and hit and roll.
Roll back. It's sort of like a little game of chess. One's rolling one way, and one's rolling the other. And so whoever blinks first and gives the other team the opportunity to...
They definitely have opposite goals, as you always do. I always think of curling as just trying to screw the other team over. That's curling.
I gotta remember that if we ever have the chance to play you.
Yeah, I'm always trying to screw you over.
Yeah.
I think I made a comment the other night. We were playing, and one of my players, she was skipping the game. Liz conveniently knows Stuart quite well. he got her into curling, and now we play together, and she was skipping the game. And I had said, oh, why don't you put the corner on the other side? And she asked why. Why not the same side that we put it on in another end? That's a nice shot there from Travis Coulter. And I said, well, I just like to mess with the other team. Just put it in a different place. That is literally the only reason that it wasn't because it curls better. It was just because I
like that thought process.
Wanted them to throw a hit in a different spot.
Change it up, exactly. Yep.
So Ian Gerling here. I have this one right. He's 31 years old and he's curled for 20 years. Has a mechanical engineering degree. He went to St. FX. So he's got that X-Ring and Dalhousie. And he's currently the campaign lead for SBM Offshore. And I was asking him the other day, how often are you away? Because he's been away for some spiels with this team. And they have a fifth man, Graham Brecken, who plays with them when they need it. Graham was at the National Mixed Championships earlier, in 2017. And Ian said he's off at the Deep Canuck Production Field Center, so it's offshore oil drilling, and he's there 3 weeks on, 3 off. So it's a back and forth schedule, which certainly you don't get to curl in those 3 weeks off, so he puts the time in when he's home. As we see another hit made. We're keeping things around the center line there. And Ian, he's, in addition to, he is an avid bagpiper. He's 20 years experience.
Dan
4 world championships.
Yeah, that's what I tidbit.
They're working hard to get this by the guard. They don't want to wick. And it will just touch.
The first blink we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, it's really too bad. It's been straight along that center line, but once it does cross, like we were saying, it does move a little bit more. So they have to be very careful with the line calls.
See over on sheet E, Greg Power trying for the big upset. He's now up 5-1 on Kendall Thompson after 6. Certainly bring the Thompson team back to the group a little bit.
So Colton throws a guard there. They don't have much of a choice. Team Thompson without Hammer. Chad could play the double peel. It's really thin. It's like a slash, so he's just going to try and run this center guard, which is why Team Thompson was trying to leave it high.
Well, what we've seen earlier is any indication, they'll get all the rocks moving here.
So this is Cameron McKenzie.
Long ways to run it back, though. Just missed it.
Just wide. Leaves it for a corner, which they may be able to use. Cameron's 26. He's curled for 16 years. And he just took a new position as a regional sales manager for responsible for Eastern Canada for a travel company. I don't know the name of the company. He's been to nationals a couple times in the junior division with Robert and Kendall, like I mentioned earlier, and also in 2008 with Kelsey Amaro. He won the 2013 mixed provincials in Nova Scotia, and he was the 2016 provincial runner-up in the men's. That was with this team, and Ian wasn't on the team. Paul Fleming threw third, and Cameron was second on the team. So the guard put back up there from Colton. I didn't give you his bio either. Colton's 25. He's curled for 16 years.
It's the only member of this team to be at the Briar, I do believe.
He was, yeah, with Team Glenn McLeod, 2015. And that was where the Briar still had the pre-qualification round, and they were oh so close. I think it was 2 centimeters that they were eliminated on a draw to the button tiebreaker, and pretty awesome to win, and I think they're devastated, but just the fire's there to get back, and so joined this team.
I think most people are happy that pre-qualifying is not part of the process anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And he did have a chance to get back. This team, Team Thompson, lineup with the exception of lead. Taylor joined this year. They were the runners-up last year. Lost in an extra end to Jamie Murphy last year.
Skip rocks here in the 6th end. Stewart trying to put another guard on that one that's in the 4-foot, or just biting the 4-foot anyway.
They got to drag it to get the curl to at least cover the rock partially.
Deal and
so that one didn't quite get over. Chad's gonna hit it. I don't think he can get a flop underneath, but he would be happy to roll away and maybe can get out of this end with a blank after it looked like a force end. And we do decision, sheet B. Jamie Murphy with a nice shot. I think it was for 3 against Mark Dacey. Mark had put a beautiful shot in the 4-foot to try and steal, down 4-1. But Murphy with the short run back. 7-1 will be the final. But if I'm wrong, you can check it on nscurl.com.
after 6 ends. Wow.
6 ends, yeah.
Maybe Mark has somewhere to be.
Yeah, well, Mark had stopped the bleeding. There was 4 consecutive points for Murphy and got 1 in the 5th, but then the 3, it's very hard to recover from a deficit like that. And we got the Murphy clan over lines watching.
Chad Stevens going to make a play on that rock in the 4-foot.
Love to keep the shooter around.
Absolutely. But that's not going to occur.
So that rolls out. So there's 2 turns Stewart can play. He's going to come around that center guard. And this is why Chad wanted to stick around. Stewart would have hit it wherever it was in the rings. But now he's got the chance to make this come around. So he's going the opposite direction of the guard that he just played. The broom is, that's 2 feet of curl. So it'll stay very straight and really only take its final movement as it gets over the hog line and starts to slow down. So they'll have to keep it. If the sweepers want to sweep it for line, they'll have to be very careful that they don't, or sorry, if they're sweeping for weight, that they don't wreck the line.
Right.
So they are sweeping for weight. They switch. Travis is inside now on the push.
Colton Steele in the house, calling the line.
And they've just got to get these, it's hard, they've got to get them to be closer to the guard when they're coming in, but they're trying to get the last bit of curl across the center line.
Beautiful shot.
That'll do it.
That is 95% buried, I'd say, Selena.
Yeah, it's, I think if they had gotten too close to the guard, it might not be open. Chad doesn't have much of it. He also doesn't have a draw to the button to score 1. So I have to make a play, but it's either the run back or a gentle weight.
I think they're playing the run back.
Gentle weight hit, but I don't think there's enough to hit there.
Judging from where they're holding the broom.
Oh, they're doing it. They're playing the hit. He can probably see a sliver. We're camera directly behind the hack. It's actually, Chad can maybe see, I shouldn't say that. It's behind the center of the hack, and Chad's, you kick out of one hack or the other, so he's actually can maybe see a tiny bit more than we can from the camera. So they had to play this tight, knowing it will grab that line.
It's close, I think. Might be by.
They got it by.
Are they going to get the roll? No.
And they want to roll the shooter out. That was a wonderful shot there from Chad. Yeah. He could not have seen much of that stone and actually managed to stick.
You called it earlier, Selena. You said Chad had the touch. Certainly proved it there.
So that's a single and 6 for Chad Stevens. They wanted 2, but they were forced, but it was a wonderful shot to get a single. They lead 3-2 going into the 7th end.
It's deja vu all over again for Chad Stevens. 1-1-1-1-1. That's the mantra here today. The same thing yesterday.
Someone would love to break it open with 2 points. It's often an indication that the teams are pretty evenly matched when you've got those single points back and forth, just trading points.
Well, Stewart was the #1 ranked team coming into this, were they not?
I think it was Jamie Murphy,
Jamie
actually.
Murphy? Okay.
Yeah. Murphy would have gotten some good points from his win last year and participated in the Road to the Roar pre-trials in Summerside, and I believe there were points awarded for that.
But neither Stuart nor Jamie had to qualify for this event. They had already
No, they were the top
pre-qualified.
2, and they did not have to qualify. Or they did qualify.
But yeah, they pre-qualified.
But
I guess
they didn't have to
pre-qualified,
do
I guess.
it in Greenwood like the rest of the 6 teams played off to be here.
Quick update from Sheet E. Brett McDougall laying it on Mike Fleming. It's now 8-2, playing the 7th end.
Yeah, big 4-ender in the 6th for Brent.
Sheet E is power still up 5-1 on Kendall Thompson. Looks like they're just finishing up the 7th end there. Thompson is in trouble over there, Selena.
Yep.
I want to call your brother. Send him a text.
Well, they're not allowed to have their phones on the ice. So I don't know if that would work.
Well, do a hand signal or something then. That's
Yeah, what's the hand signal for? Start making your shot.
yeah. Stop messing up. Now Stevens trying to take advantage of that out front.
They'd love to force Stewart here and have Hammer in 8. So the center guard would be the reason, or would be how to do that.
Yeah,
I think
mixed
we're
that.
backwards.
Yes,
eh?
I was
Yeah.
backwards on that one. That's my fault. My color blindness coming into effect.
That's A-okay. Are you actually colorblind?
No.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, because if you're not, Chad Stevens' team has these bright green and blue jackets that are the opposite colors of the black jacket. Team Thompson. No, I'm just teasing you.
I was at a Bonspiel once with the gentleman. We played 5 games before we realized he was colorblind. Couldn't tell the color of the rocks.
Well, they are mostly gray.
Exactly. We told him to hit the yellow one, and he said, which one is the yellow one? So.
So was he just keeping track?
What I don't.
Which stone was which color?
I don't know, because we were so busy laughing we didn't think of asking him at that point. So.
I'm always curious about that kind of stuff, as how people make
Make
if they
adjustments.
have if they make adjustments and make things work, even though they're probably a disadvantage in terms of being able to tell the rocks by color, and if you can't tell the colors, it might hurt you.
Well, we won all 5 games, so I'm not going to.
Oh, they just squeaked that one by. They were sweeping to get that to curl, and then had to put the straight side sweeper on it. Just got that ball. Wow. Actually, they didn't want that to curl. It over curled. And the yellow is open. It's not angled with the blue. So Ian Gerling here can put this in. Have another yellow in the.
Try to choke off that scoring area.
We'll see. Every time I predict what's going to happen, I'm wrong.
Yeah.
The team
I mean,
is
we're still early yet. I would
change
think
it on me, but
before this ends over, those rocks are going to be jumbled about. And,
we'll see the guard peeled or run back.
Exactly. There'll be some big weight shots
Stuart's
coming
team
up.
doesn't only want a single. They'd love to get a 2-point here and take a lead.
Oh, 2
They
point.
haven't led this game. Chad scored first every time. This one looks pretty good, though. So that's pretty nice. You see the yellows are onto the blues fairly nicely,
Very
especially
nicely.
that one on the button. The back blue, they're not as worried about because it's shutting down that 4-foot. Blue sits 1. Stuart thinks they need another one in there to protect when a rock is run in. I think he's right.
There's your bias coming up again.
Well, I think Chad's right a lot of the time, too. But in all fairness, if you have hammer and you have a couple rocks that are in vulnerable positions in the 4-foot, you probably do need another one in there.
Absolutely, yes.
Bias or
I'm
no
just having
bias.
fun with you. You're
I
absolutely
know.
right.
This one's hanging wide, though. They have to wait. If it's heavy, they're probably not going to get their curl they're looking for from Travis Coulter. I think Travis is the only player I haven't introduced. So may as well do it as he throws a rock a little heavy. I don't think it ended up the worst, but
No,
certainly they would have liked that to curl more.
It's not in a horrible position for the Thompson team.
Travis is 26, so this is a young team. He's a team at 26.
Wow.
Taylor's youngest at 24. Travis curled for 10 years. He works for Grey Bar Canada. And he's got a wife in the event, Julia. She curls with Kristen McDermott in the women's side on the Scotties. And he and Julia actually won the 2014 mixed doubles provincials. And that's kind of early on in mixed doubles. It's now an Olympic sport, and we actually just had the
awesome.
Canadian trials.
It's a great sport.
Have you ever played?
I have, yes. Yeah.
I've only ever played like maybe a couple ends. I was not good at it. I think it's one of those things like
Well, I have to
anything you
go
have to
back,
learn.
Go back. I have to go back to the family. My daughter Kate won the provincial AA juniors last year.
Oh, fancy. I did not know that.
Double, yep.
Good job, Kate.
Her and her partner Aidan Kavanagh. Inaugural event last year.
So another stone put in there. Nice position. You see those yellows are all crowding the button. I think at some point Stuart might want to look for an out to this end.
Yeah, absolutely.
He likes to play
The way those rocks are grouped
messy,
right now,
but
sorry, go ahead. They're looking pretty good for Chad right now.
yeah, blue. But there's three yellows that are
surrounding the
second, third, and fourth.
yeah, which easily promotable to get rid of both of those blues.
Yeah, I'd be real tempted to bail here. They're not. They're playing into it. They're putting another blue one in there. I think it becomes a point where you have to make shots if you're going to play them.
Well, if you want to win at this level, you got to have the stone cold blood running through your veins. It's one thing to have the courage to call the shots. You got to have the ability to make them.
So Colton's working hard to get this on the inside of the blue stone. And this looks like a pretty good result, actually. If you're going to call that shot, better make it, and that was very well done from Travis Coulter. You can see if anything comes down on the blue, you probably lose, but that one that Travis just threw isn't going anywhere.
At some point, will Chad not make that run back?
I don't know if Chad's going to be the one to do it.
Because it's not going to be there for him much longer.
I think that was the only way to get that blue stone in there is to ricochet off another. It's really going to be hard to put another one in. But I think at this point maybe both teams are a little worried about the other team's ability to score or steal. So someone might throw that run back and both teams say, okay, we'll clear things up. We're going to have a Stevens, and they're realizing
they're going to talk about it.
We're not shot, but can we force here by leaving the situation as is and guarding things up?
I guess it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Do you go for the steal or do you try to go for the force?
They'd love to put up a 2-point advantage, so a steal would be awesome.
Yeah, that's what I would think.
They're just looking at the angles and.
When they get they got at least two options, or at least two to get that rock off the button.
I see if anything's run back into that top blue, that a lot of rocks are going to move.
A lot of rocks are going to move.
2 yellows, probably 3 blues out of the 4. You'll have the yellow that's run in, might stick around. But I think, the run is.
You might only lose 2 blues, though. So that blue on the left, I don't think is going anywhere.
The center line one, no.
Yeah.
And you think the one on the button?
Even the one that's on the 8-foot. No, I think the 2 blues that are on the one on the button and the one back 4-foot are both going to go.
You might be able to save the one on the button, just back 4 if it gets chipped.
Yeah, it depends. I guess it depends on how much weight they're throwing with that run back. If it's a straight peel weight run back, I don't think we're going to see that out of Stevens.
Yeah, I think Stewart, if Stevens doesn't make a play into the rings and puts up a guard, I don't even know if they're talking about a guard. I think they realize that the angles are okay. They were good for them a second ago, but Travis just made a peach, and do they want to be? You can readjust the angles by hitting that outside blue. That'll go, and
yes, and then
maybe you can angle it or promote it to chip the blue on the button, actually, if you hit it wide.
Yeah.
I don't think Chad's team is going to be the one to play that run back.
No, I agree 100%.
They're looking at shutting down that 4-foot, and the guard's helping them with that right now.
It looks like I don't think they're playing a hit here, though. It looks like they're just playing a soft weight.
Soft weight, yep.
Yeah. Just sort of move a little bit and try and make the angles a little better for themselves, which I think they're pretty good right now.
The angles can be good for anybody. You just have to make your shot, I suppose.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
It is really back and forth.
Middle stat really working it.
There's the Kelly we all know. Sweeps like a maniac. That's a good shot there from Cameron. I think it is. It's certainly puts 4 yellows in the 4-foot, and that blue that's shot is vulnerable.
Yeah.
So is the bail coming now? The top 4 blue will stay anywhere, but I think a lot of other rocks can move here.
They're looking at what's going to happen if that blue one hit that blue one under the nose with the run back.
So
I think you could get all 4 yellow ones moving.
Yeah, I think best case is it's straight back onto the blue. If it goes a little angle and goes onto any of the other yellows, is good, but at least it'll open things up.
Yeah, you certainly don't want to over curl it and have it go to the left, because that would drive that yellow one into the rock that's on the button. So, well, here we go. Giddy up. Let's get some weight going. This one should be coming down at a pretty good clip.
So Colton Steele, and we are on the first,
There he
or is
comes.
this the second of third stones? Am I crazy? No, first of third stones here for Colton. Needs to curl up a hair.
There you go. Great shot.
The blue squirted more than I thought it would.
Rock that was on the button?
Yeah. The blue, the top 4-foot
Top
one.
4-foot one, yeah. Well, there might have been more separation there than we thought, right? So it sort of might have jiggled a little bit and danced through.
So blue guard still out front. Is that what it goes? Thompson blue at the back. 4-foot sits 1. That's not ever where you want to hear you're sitting 1, is at the back. And there's a very dangerous yellow stone. That was the stone that was run in. Colton just hit that rock a little high, and I think that's why the angles didn't go exactly as they wanted. That yellow didn't go perfectly straight back. It went
Just
a
off.
little bit. It's toward the left. So as we're looking at it here, it went from the right side of center to the left, and now sits just nibbling the 4-foot.
It's a game of inches, right? If that thing is square on, might be a different result here.
Yeah, another one in the 4-foot. I think we might see another run back from Colton on his second, just to clear those yellows.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of jam possibilities on the blues at the back.
Yeah, there's lots of stuff there for the yellows to
That run back
run up
was
against.
interesting. It didn't work.
Oh, he's outside. That's what
Quite.
Chad's indicating. Starting to come up now.
Now they're going hard for line. I wonder if he got it out enough that it actually took a dive. That's a big miss there. They needed to keep that guard in front of the hole.
I tell you, that's I think blue is 1 and 3, right? Absolutely.
Yeah, 1 and 3. I don't think Stewart needs to move that yellow yet. Just like to get another stone in a good position. Right in the 4-foot. So this is Colton's second. After this, we're down to skip stones.
Another great end. Great curling.
It's a little crazy. They're going to have to keep their eye on the clocks again. We're playing 7. Team Thompson, you see it ticking down there. There's 38 minutes of thinking time, so they like to have about, well, it's 3.8 per end
Yeah,
if
exactly.
you really want to do the math,
the-
which is not
Which
hard.
I don't.
3.8. So it's 0.8 of 60 seconds.
48.
Don't- Yes. Sure.
I'm pretty good at math. I'd say I don't like doing it, but I'm pretty good at it.
What do you do, Jeff?
I'm an accountant.
Oh, I probably should have known that before I signed up with you here. All right. So looking for the, this isn't a hit. This is just a draw into the 4-foot. Difference of opinion. Skip and third. Whoa and yes. They need to get that by the top. Actually,
I think they wanted to chip that yellow one a little further than
yeah,
that.
they wanted to make contact with the yellow on the side of the 4-foot first.
Yeah, yeah. Still, and that rock is half behind, so.
So it's looking, it's tough. So if any yellow gets promoted into that 4-foot, it's probably not going anywhere. So
No.
I think Chad's gonna. It's hard. Can he put another one in there?
Oh, I think he can. I mean,
there's
at
no
this
room
point,
to get around that top yellow. That
I think he might be.
Colton's rubbed off the top and then hit the side and bounced in.
I think he's looking to come off his own a little bit.
Yeah, and it's that the risk with that is, of course.
Well, if you don't make it all the way across.
Yeah, you might leave a hit.
Yeah.
But I think it's his only way in there. Might be making it with weight. You think? This is like a double yellow, yellow, blue?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. With
Yeah, I'm
weight.
colorblind too. I think
Yeah.
the blue stones are
I
red.
think the problem with that, though, is that it still leaves that yellow one that he's going to throw exposed a lot.
Yes.
I'd be more inclined to play a soft touch and just nudge up to that one that's on the button.
I would
and try,
too.
and
And
try
that
to
could
force,
be what he's
right?
playing. We'll see. Oh, that's pretty good hit weight there. Looks like he threw this one tight. Hope there's not a hole. There we go. He's got it. So that moved a lot of rocks as well.
Yeah.
Blue is second shot now. This the stone that Chad just threw his shot.
Good
So
thing.
Stuart.
Sorry, the good thing for Chad is he still has that rock that's in front of the 4-foot just biting, and that's third. So if Thompson gets rid of the yellow rock that was just thrown in the 4-foot, it'll be still for 2, but I
Yeah.
mean Chad is still
Yeah, it's kind of a
protected there.
max 2 situation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And as of right now, all the rocks that are counting are behind the tee line, so that's got to be a little bit of a concern for Thompson.
Yeah, it certainly is. He needs to get an inside. I think that'll take away any play. So this will be the last time someone has a play off a side stone. I think it's too flat to play off the other side blue.
Yeah.
So
you
he's trying to take this away.
You got to get to the inside of that yellow one too. Anything on the outside is disastrous for Thompson.
It's pretty tight, so this is good. Touch shot here. Stuart Thompson, first of 2 in the 7th.
Not playing in really any big weight, just like a tee line draw weight.
The sweepers can carry it the rest of the way. They're waiting for the line. It's only on about half of the yellow now. So Travis is trying to make this work. All right, so that did the trick in terms of keeping blue sitting 2. Do you think Chad can get to the inside of that blue stone that was just
There's
thrown?
no doubt in my mind he can.
Looks good from this angle to get to the inside.
Yeah.
It's risky if
Now,
you ever miss.
Looking at the ice level, it doesn't look quite as inviting, but
Looks good from the camera.
with the camera, you know what? He could probably get to that back one with the outturn.
Yeah, I don't think Chad has too much of a choice here. He's facing 2. It's his last stone. He doesn't want to give up more than 2. Would love to steal. So to get a stone in the area, I don't see any play on the other side of the sheet. It'll just be here. And even if he can freeze to that, if it's shot or even second shot, it really makes it hard for Stuart to get 2.
Yeah, that looked like what he's playing. Not playing. I don't think he's playing any big weight here. Just enough to try and get out of that blue one and sit there.
And the question is, will it get enough curl? Because no one's had too many over curls this game, I have to say.
Well, even if he comes up light and he doesn't quite get there, He'll force Thompson to the other side of the sheet where there hasn't been a whole lot of rocks on this end. Try to get his deuce.
Yeah, I don't know if any were thrown on the outturn side of the sheet. We're looking at the in-turn side here
Yeah.
for the right-handers.
You don't want to be too heavy and just put it straight back because then Thompson will have a shot for 3.
Cameron's got them hard for line, so I wonder if Chad was a bit tight on that. Looks like it's
Might be more for weight.
good to me. He's getting the movement now. They're trying to keep it off that top.
Wow.
He'll get that in.
Wow. Just by.
And shot.
And shot.
So is there a pick?
Dangerous.
Or do you play it with
It's
weight and nose and hope that yellow squirts and bounces out?
That's dangerous. If he plays it with weight, it doesn't pick it clean.
Oh, you still get one.
Still get one. But if you hit too much of it, you might give up a steal one.
Yeah. But if you don't do anything, you give up a steal one.
Exactly. You got to do something.
I think they're going to play the pick with tight ice, or maybe this is the nose, actually. Oh, I don't know if you can get to the nose. It looks like the yellow actually got under
I
the
think
top
you can.
8 yellow.
With the weight these guys can throw, and
Here we go.
amount of curl.
Last shot, 7th end. I think it's for 2.
He's definitely got
I'm backed off.
2. It is.
Still good
Great-
for 2,
great
though.
shot.
So our first 2 of the
First
game
2-ender,
there.
yes.
In a crazy end. Stuart Gincamera was just, we must have fans downstairs cheering because he's waving his glove, a little hurrah. Finally, a 2-point scored. It is in the 7th end in favor of Team Thompson, so they'll take the 1-point lead 4-3. Thanks for catching us here on Bell 5 TV1. Selena Thompson, Jeff Fitzgerald, having a ball. I'm learning Jeff knows his math much better than I do. This is the Deloitte Tankard. We have only one final. All 8 teams are out, or were out. Only the one final, Murphy defeating Dacey in 6 ends. Cut that one short. We do have Brent McDougall versus Mike Fleming, 8-5 in favor of McDougall. Playing 8. And Kendall Thompson and Greg Power. That's a 5-2 match. Power leading 5-2 with hammer. And that would, if it continues the way it's going, that will hand Greg his first win and Kendall his first loss. So that's how tight the field is here.
I'm not sure if the other boys are watching the scoreboard, but if that can score holds on sheet E, then we'll have at least a 3-way tie atop the standings, if not 4. Murphy's at 3-1 now. The winner of our game will be 3-1. McDougall will be looking for his first win, so that will put 3 teams atop if the score holds on sheet E. And that's where you want to be, top 3.
So the tight guard put up from Taylor Ardeal. That's the Team Thompson lead. He's thrown his second after Kelly Middlestat put up a corner guard. So I think Chad Stevens is going to go for the 2 points here in 8. 2 hammers to 1. You like to have hammer in the 8th end. Taylor's playing the tap here. Was given tight ice, but that rock has not curled. And I think that was just a little heavy.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely didn't want to go that far.
So the center guard's gone, and we'll call that tight blue stone a corner guard. It's not helping Team Thompson. It's favoring Team Stevens. There is a blue in the rings, but it's behind the tee line. So Kelly's going to come around the corner guard. They're kind of just going to ignore that blue stone It's backing if needed, but they're not playing down to it necessarily. They just like this to be deep enough that there's room to come around again. And this one won't get shot, but it's in a good position. Behind, you can see that's a great view there. Behind the corner guard. And it's risky times for Team Thompson. It's so early in the end. We've only had the lead stones, but he knows that Chad's got a good chance to score multiples here.
He's peeling the corner guard. He knows that in the long run, that would be the rock that would hurt them the most for
Oh, it
Stevens
sure
to-
will. Those corner guards can be danger. If there's no center guard in play and nothing going on for the team without hammer, you best bet that team with hammer's going around that corner. So that's made for Travis. Now it's Ian's turn. Chad probably will
Put it up again?
guard. Yeah, you got to replace it.
Yeah.
It's almost like, I don't want to say wasting a few stones, but it's using up a couple of the opponent's hits on guards instead of in the rings. It's like a sacrificial guard.
Just got a message from Glenn Shea enjoying our commentary.
Yay. Hi, Glenn. I hope you're enjoying the game, too.
I hope you're enjoying the game too. Yeah.
I don't know. You know, the sheet show with Benny Heaves? Oh, man. Jeff and I have not done a game together.
That was our
This is
first one. Yes.
But
Yep.
I think it's safe to say we're having a little bit of fun
So
out here.
thoroughly enjoying it.
It's been a very fun game to watch as well.
You know, it makes it for a great commentary when you can do a
something
great
to
game.
talk about.
Exactly.
Color blindness.
And learn
Hackline weight.
and hackline like I'm learning about hackline weight.
All right, Travis Coulter. That guard over curled, so they have access in the rings. Going for the hit to sit two.
Don't want it to over curl here.
If they can roll behind their own blue stone.
Not quite.
They wanted to keep, if they roll behind their own blue stone, it's probably rolling deep, which is not good. So they wanted to keep it high. Actually wanted to keep it toward the center line. This is a little bit of a chance for Chad to play down to it. He's probably not going to bother putting up another corner guard just because things will get too congested.
Exactly. Yeah. Looks like he's just playing the corner freeze to it.
Yeah, and this doesn't even have to be shot. It's a setup shot for later.
Right.
Sweeper's calling out a... Oh, I thought it was a 3 that they called.
It's almost over
on the other sheet.
Over curling a little bit.
It
But
is.
that's not horrible.
Well, it's in good scoring position. It's the blue stone's behind the tee line.
Yeah.
Blue sits 2.
And you can still see, you certainly see that blue one promoted. So if Thompson doesn't come over there and cover that up, that will be hittable for Chad at some point.
This is going to be another, I think, back and forth end where it's like one team makes a good shot and so does the other team. One team misses and then the other team capitalizes.
And it looks like the scoring area is going to be compromised again, right down to the 4-foot, because that's where the play seems to be going.
They have room on line, but I think sweepers are going for weight here.
Oh yeah, that looks really light. That's not going to get halfway to the house. But it certainly takes away that hit on the back one from Chad.
Blue's shot. If yellow can find a way, like if Chad can find a way to get shot out of that, it's great. He may just play the draw here around that center guard and go for it at this point. Love to score an 8.
Well, you know what? He definitely needs to score 2 here, though. I don't think he'd be happy with taking the 1, giving Stewart the chance to blank 9 and have that hammer coming home tied.
No, it would be nice to have the 2 points.
Yeah, definitely want the 2.
if he only does score the single, Chad will try really hard for the force in 9.
Yeah, you try hard the rest of the game, right? Just really
No, they haven't tried hard at all.
Just in the 9th, then you try hard.
Sometimes you just get, a little more aggressive.
A little more aggressive. Like,
This
little
one
more
from
intense.
Cameron. They'd
A lot
like
of-
this to
got a lot of
stop.
weight.
Sweepers have walked away, but should stop. They just like to make it dramatic for us. Make it look like it's going through the rings. The unfortunate thing is it's behind the tee line.
Yeah, it's a little deep. He needed that. Probably another 18 inches, 2 feet higher.
So Colton with a chance to freeze down to it. And Team Thompson, it's interesting. They'd be okay here. Really good opportunity to steal if the stone is put in a good position.
Chad may have to do something with that long guard at some point.
Sweepers are saying line only, which means that it's there for weight, and that is not picking up the curl quite as much as they'd like. But now they're going to try and work hard to get it locked right on that yellow stone.
Yeah, they don't want
Get
any
shot out of it.
separation there.
It's not shot, but it's in a really good position. It's actually accessible to be raised back. So just see if there's anything for Team Stevens, if they can run in a guard or.
Can he not just skinny that Selena and pick that through the hole? Maybe get the blue one that's on.
Oh yeah,
forefoot?
I bet you could poke it through. It looks better. We've got, mentioned again, the 2 different camera angles. Looks a lot better on the camera that Jeff's looking at than the one that I'm looking at, which is what the viewers are seeing. To skinny through that hole, that'd be such a thin chip through,
thin
and
chip.
you'd risk raising it and letting blue sit 3.
Yeah. But this is a dangerous end for Stevens setting up.
Sure is. And it was looking really good for them. You just you couldn't go a foot deep.
A foot deep, that was it. Now they're going to be scrambling.
And it still is. They're still in, they can score if they can keep things clean, but it's just a really, really good chance for a steal here for Thompson, too.
Oh, just a quick update on Sheet E. Kendall Thompson stole 2 and 8. He's now down. Playing 9. Greg Power.
I think my subliminal message to start playing better worked. Now you'll have some funny things happen, and I was watching the Greg Power game against Thompson yesterday, and Greg is pretty good at those touch shots. Like I was saying, Chad Stevens can play.
Yep.
Really, really good at those touch,
Soft
weight
looks
shots.
like we have another timeout here. And no, they haven't called timeout yet, but they're all coming down to discuss the shot. I believe each team's used one at this point.
Each team has used 1 timeout, so they have 1 left, 90 seconds. You try to use them strategically to give yourselves more time. They're okay for time here. We're down to the end of the 8th. 2 ends left. You'd like to have about 4 minutes an end. We range it, bare minimum of 3. You can play an end in a minute of thinking time if you aren't thinking much. But with this game, I don't see that happening.
No. So Stevens up against it here. What are their options? Looking like they're going to peel that guard, maybe? Or run it back. Running the guard back in the house is so dangerous at this point. Might just be a straight peel.
Yeah.
Maybe might even be looking for a double peel here.
I think he's gonna run it into the other blue actually and open up both.
The blue guard.
Yes.
Yes, I agree.
Clear both guards.
You get rid of both guards, and that certainly opens up the angles for them.
They're going hard.
Curling
this
on them,
one's
though.
curling.
Yeah, not a great result.
They did open up their Yellowstone on the side,
outside,
though. So that's a positive. They'd love to have gotten rid of both. They opened it up for Team Thompson
I got to
as
think
well
they're
as
going to play.
themselves.
Yeah, they're going to play the hit
Yeah.
on that one and just sort of take that away.
And that's to open up both so that when the other team takes away
So
one
you still
shot,
have,
you still
have
have
another
a
one.
second.
Absolutely. But now the angle on that blue rock that's guarding out front guard is not bad for Chad if you wanted to run that back. If you could get to the nose of it, run it straight back in, he'd avoid his yellow one. But
he'd avoid his yellow, but there's a lot of risk with
it's
that.
It's risky, absolutely.
Because there's 3 blues in the rings right now. So Stewart's just playing. This is interesting.
So
this is a very aggressive call to promote his own blue stone, the one Colton just threw. You can see, what, about half? Just less than half?
I'd say less than half. So it looks like they're going for it. But the angle is right that it would come back onto the yellow one if they can hit what they see.
And I suspect this is just being played with a back line.
Yeah, certainly no
type
more
of weight.
than that. Yeah. But you definitely want to get it around that guard because if it hangs out too much, that would create a great angle for
It's going to be
Stevens.
really close. Once they're by, they'll get off. Sits 1.
I think there's an opportunity here for Stevens if they can get in there. We're down to skip rocks. Stevens still with 2 to come. Thompson with just the sole one left for him.
So you can see with that blue stone out front, it's kind of preventing access. There is a slash on the yellow on the side.
Dangerous.
Very dangerous. If it ever
Even if
gets the angle wrong, it's going to remove his yellow at the back.
Even if you make the shot, you're still only 1 behind the tee. Because your yellow one that you slash in is probably not going to stay.
So I think they're raising the blue, actually.
The guard?
Yeah.
They're running the guard in?
Yeah. Which blue, Selena? Yeah, the guard.
Wow.
So this is tough. There's a lot of ways it can go wrong, but there's not a really good option for this team. This slash is like a last ditch.
Well, they could
I think.
they could come around and corner free so that blue one that's just biting the button and be shot themselves.
Yeah, it's just really, really hard to get around the guard, I think. This is more ways to have good things happen even if you're not perfect.
Yeah.
It's over curling, though.
It's almost like Chad's looking to trying to find a way just to get his one.
He is, yeah, and that he won't be happy with that. Slash is gone. Sits the 1, that yellow in the back, and I don't think they're going to be the ones to jiggle things
Not
around.
now,
It's
no.
looking real good for them at this point. Other than a cold draw to the pin, I don't know how Chad scores, so I think they'll just try and prevent that. Put it right around the center line.
Right on the center line, yeah.
You can bring this one in. It doesn't have to be a guard. It can be as close as top 8, even biting top 4.
Yeah, butting top 4 would really put the pressure on Chad. Really wouldn't have many options.
Colton's saying there, it doesn't curl enough. That's not even, they'll have the draw the other side. I think you just put it right in front of, right on the center line.
Tighter the better. I mean, if you really wanted to be aggressive, you could come right in, bite the button, and sit 2.
Well, yeah, you run the risk of putting it behind the button, but
Yeah. The corner
I
froze
think
your
anywhere
own.
in the rings, top house, splitting center line, you just blocking the path to
Exactly.
the button,
Yeah.
and you block both sides, the draw on both sides, by having it closer to the 4-foot in the button area.
Now, if you don't protect that rock that's biting the button, though, could Chad get to the nose of that and make a double? And just come
Yeah,
across,
the blue. Yeah,
come across the top of his
it's
own
real
and get his
thin.
deuce?
It's real thin, and if
Yeah.
he hits it, or sorry, you'd have to nose it.
Nose it.
And squirt the shot blue over the top.
the
That
top,
is so
yeah.
risky, though, because if you ever hit it on the right side of the screen.
You're probably only giving up 1, though, because your shooter's probably going to stay. It depends
Just
depends
saying
how
if
thin
it
you
ever,
hit it.
if anything
Yeah.
ever ticks the yellow,
yeah.
then that's that's a big score for blue.
Depending on where this one stops, of course. Last
So I think
rock.
they decided on in the rings.
Yeah, like 8 foot on the center, like right where Colton's got his broom.
Yeah, Colton's
Doing our job for us.
Can't see it on the, the viewer's screen. We've got this extra camera, but
Oh, sorry.
you see where Colton has his broom here as it comes into view. It was top 8 foot splitting center. Now they're just dragging it as far as they can. They'd have liked that a foot or two closer. They could have done it. So Chad just has a cold draw. That shot, like you said, Jeff, is there. The double on the Blues, but I think that is too risky.
Too risky at this point, yeah. If that rock that Colton threw, or no, that Stewart just threw was another foot and a half to the left of, or to the right of where our viewers are looking right now, that hit would be there. But
yeah, the shot stone would have been exposed. Yeah. So it does the trick. It forces the draw. Yeah. This is a very difficult draw for one.
Not the end of the world here for Chad. If he doesn't make this, he's only given up the one. He'd be down 2 coming into the 9th end, which is certainly not insurmountable by any means. But he'd like to make this.
We always talk about the importance of scoring in 8, and it would be a tie game if this is made.
Well, somebody's scoring in 8.
He's got to get a piece of the button.
They're really touching. They're close.
Starting to curl now. Super saying it's all there. But if it stops, I think he'll have made it.
Great. Ooh, it's close. No, I think he's got it.
I think that's yellow. Yeah. So I think that is...
Great touch shot by Chad Stevens.
Nerves of steel. Chad Stevens with a single.
There
to tie 8th end.
There you go, Taylor. Faith in your dad. He made it.
Yeah, she's got it. That did not look like it was made halfway down the sheet. I think Chad threw that a little soft. It dug in.
No. FYI, I got 14.6. It's come down. Oh, yeah, no, it's down. I got a 91.
They're talking splits and speeds, just saying the ice is slowing down a little bit.
Yeah.
14.6 would be hog to hog, which earlier in the game it would have been closer to a 15. So Cameron got a 14.6. Doesn't look very excited for having just made the team in a while.
Yeah. I'm sure he's the heart's beating.
He's probably rolling his eyes that he had to make that shot at all.
At all, exactly.
Chad.
But here we go. Off the 9. Stuart Thompson with the hammer.
Yeah, so game on.
We got all of a sudden we have 2 barn burners happening on sheets D and E. Our colleagues Dan Hobson and Pam Sullivan calling the game between Mike Fleming and Brent McDougall. Right now it's an 8-7 game for McDougall coming home.
Ooh,
and he
Fleming
has the hammer.
To the metal there.
Yeah.
Score of 3 and 7, and then steals an 8 and 9.
Steal. And over on sheet E, it's a pretty clean end right now between Thompson and Power. Power's hitting 2 in the rings. Has the hammer playing 9. He's up 1. Trying to help.
They're actually playing the 10th. I don't know what happened in the 9th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they haven't posted the score yet. So it was either a blank, because Power does have hammer. It was a blank, or Thompson scored a single. Or something else stole. I don't know. You can steal more than one, but... maybe someone will be kind and post the score for us.
Exactly, yeah.
So here, tie game, Thompson with hammer. They're probably going to look for a blank, I'd say.
Well, Stevens threw up the corner guard, and they attempted to go around it, and looks like they're going to wreck on it.
Yeah, as a split.
Yeah, sure it does. Now it makes that yellow unhittable, because up until then it was in the free guard zone, which is the first 4 rocks of the end.
Yeah, the important thing was they actually punched the yellow into the ring,
exactly.
So it can be hit now.
It can be hit now.
We love us free guard zone. It keeps everyone in the game.
Free guard zone being 4 delivered stones of the end. If they're not in the house, if they're over the hog line, not in the house, they cannot be removed from play. Although they can be hit, they just can't be removed.
And you can remove your own stones.
That's
Saw a neat one. Nancy Delahunt yesterday throws lead for Colleen Jones. She didn't need a guard and put one there by accident, so her second shot was actually peeling her own. And that one will come up light, not make the hog line.
Yeah.
So, like you said, Jeff, hits available. And we might see them go for 2, an easy 2
well,
here.
yeah, there's an opportunity. That hog Brock, that's a big mistake by Kelly.
And it kind of goes to saying about the speed, maybe slowing down.
And just fooling them a little bit here in the late ends. So at what point, Selena, does Chad give up the steal, or at least, or does he really give up the opportunity, or try to steal?
Well, he'll try and force as much as he can, and that's why this is being called instead of a hit.
Yeah, I mean Stewart's obviously going to try and keep it as clean as possible because he'd love the blank here.
Yeah, I'd love to have Hammer and 10 tied. So this is where the interesting situations come out, where you'll see a team maybe not play the conventional thinking.
Right. So this is a question I have for you, because the opinions vary on this. Would you rather be up 1 coming home without, or down 1 with?
I don't know. It's on certain ice, maybe it's a little straight here, so sometimes it's like, well, I'm okay with being with trying to steal because I get the first stab at getting in there.
Right.
Normally, I would be very much to say, yep, down, down 1 with Hammer, and go real hard for your 2. And know that you can tie it and try and steal, because when you're up 1 without, you still have to try and steal.
Right.
Force is not. It's okay, but you have to play an extra end. But you still really do try and steal, and it's a very, I don't know,
I get
tenuous
it.
position.
Opinions are different.
Yeah.
I like playing with the lead, so I'd rather be up 1 without.
Yeah, and some people just say, you know what, I've got the lead, and I can try and steal.
Try and put some pressure on the other team into trying to go first too.
Well, if you look at the stats, which we have, the stats are really held for national championships and like Grand Slam type of events, and they, undeniably say down 1 with Hammer is the way to go. But we're not there right now. I've seen a lot of steals in the 10th end, so that's kind of dictating my wonky answer.
Glenn Shea just sent me a little note here, say with Kendall's last rock in the last end, he probably should have thrown hack line weight.
Kendall's last shot, or Stewart's?
Sorry, Stewart's last shot, last end. Should have used the Thompson family hack line weight.
Play the hack line weight. I don't actually know where that came from first.
So you know what? It's all yours now, as far as I'm concerned.
We use it. We'll have to take a poll. Does anyone else say that? It's too obvious to not say.
You know what? I'm guessing not.
Come on, people. So we had the little promotion there. The rings, just trying to set up something to. Wow. Travis Coulter with the heat. He can throw it as well.
We were just talking about the stats there, Selena, for Stuart Thompson in the Tankard so far. He's played 4 games and he's had two blank ends. Yeah.
Not much.
Yep, and one when he had the hammer and one when he didn't.
I'd call that 50-50.
Yeah.
Would you? Sorry. Oh,
you can make the numbers say anything you want, Selena. Chad, on the other hand, through his first 4 games, has had 5 blank ends.
That is a big difference between those 2 teams.
2 that he's controlled and 3 that he hasn't. So
that is a little bit of an indication about this 1-1, score of 1, is that things are a little more even and clean them up and maybe bailed at some point.
Yeah. Looking for a blank here. He's looking for the force of 1 or a steal. And he's stolen 6 ends, and he's had 4 steals against him. So.
And what are the stats for Stewart's team? We're looking at.
In terms of steals, he's stolen 6 ends, and he's had 3 stolen against him.
Oh. With those stats, maybe you do want to go up 1 without. You'd be okay with that. I don't think they're looking at the stats. They're just playing with what they're comfortable with. On Travis's stone, we're on Colton's now, but on Travis's where he made a big weight hit and actually kept that blue one around. Chad was trying to get something. Team Thompson would have to remove their own blue stone, and I think what ended up happening was he just wicked The top one might actually be in the rings, the one where Chad's broom is.
Yeah, it's pretty
But
close.
there is a double here for Cameron.
Pretty thin, but it's there. They still haven't put up the score for the 9th on sheet E between Power and Kendall Thompson. It was
Makes
blank.
me think it was a blank.
Scorekeeper just told us it was a blank. So
So Thompson down 1.
down 1 without Hammer coming home, which is not the great spot. to
And
be in.
Cameron makes the double.
That
Yeah,
rock is-
enthusiastic. You can see Chad in the back there.
and that blue rock is just hanging on at the back of the back line, not touching the rings, but still in play.
Just made it.
For all our viewers out there that might not be totally up to that rock has to be totally behind the back line to be taking out. If any portion of it is touching the line, it stays in play.
I get that question a lot in Learn to Curls. They say, "Oh, isn't it out? It's out of the rings." And I'm like, "No, it's very much in play.
And here's
If it were on the center line, it would be in."
taking his own rock out of play. So there you go.
So they're going for the blank. Tempted to play a freeze, try and still get the 2 points that way. Colton's, I don't mind the peel, so that's the call. And he made it.
So all things being equal, we're going to be looking at a 10th end coming home tied with Thompson having the hammer. We'll see some exciting curling then. There'll be lots of rocks in play.
Sure will.
At least from Chad Stevens' perspective.
Yeah,
anyway.
they'll have to score and steal to do so, and we'll be trying to put the hurt on the center line. And just to clarify, I said hurt on. I don't know what everybody heard. But
That's what I heard. So,
good.
but I'm not really listening to you. So there you go.
Ouch. Are they talking about playing a guard?
So
They're going to do it.
quick update on D. McDougall is up 1 coming home with hammer, but Fleming is really putting the pressure on him. Fleming is sitting probably 3 right now and still shooting, looking to probably throw a guard on there.
So Chad here selected to play the tight guard.
As opposed to coming into the rings.
Yeah, we did just watch Team Thompson peel their own out, so they're going for the blank. But this is interesting. So
I like it.
he's hoping for a miss with this shot.
A nose hit of some sort.
A nose hit, and then he'll be able to come around and
That one's
maybe
come
force.
sliding in
but
deep, though.
That's going to go into the rings anyway.
That's too bad. Well, for Chad's too bad.
So easy call here. Nose hit for Stewart. He won't want to peel this out. Like to stick around and maybe get it. You'd like to hope that the other team will miss, but we haven't seen a lot of misses out of these two skips this game. Some really nice shots.
Under pressure, too.
Absolutely.
As you said, Slinger, nice shot. Nose hit, sticks around.
So we'll see the same out of Chad. He won't want to lose the shooter
No,
either.
certainly
He
not.
wants to make Stewart make a shot for the blank.
I think he'd probably run a roll off the center line one way or the other. Just try to take, make different than what he just thrown. Maybe get him out into some.
Yeah,
some
there's two ways of looking at that. You roll to a place where it's a new path for the other skip,
Exactly,
or you
yeah.
leave it in the center where you'll have to make the largest roll. to
longer
blank.
roll, yeah.
So his last rock in the ninth end in a tie game.
Most important thing, though, is he has to make contact with that blue rock and get rid of it.
Yes.
You don't want to be talking about all this other
stuff. There's the first part
and
of the shot, and then there's what's left over.
Exactly, yeah. Whatever you can do otherwise.
So they tried to do a little both. Hit it on the just off nose, stick it around, but put it in a slightly different path.
Nice
We've
part-
seen a lot of straight rocks here, so
Yeah. And for Chaz, the nice thing is that rock is totally in the rings, so that if Stewart happens to nose it, then he'd be forced
yeah, a
to
nose
being
is in.
outside the rings. So
So this is for the blank. Last shot, 9th end. Tie game, Thompson-Stevens. Stuart Thompson throwing. No question there.
Oh, little over on sheet E. Kendall's
Comes
last
up
rock
light.
light. So Greg Power with taking 2 in the 10th end beats Thompson. Kendall Thompson, that is. Brings him back to 3-1. So we're going to have a 3-way tie top the standings here after this game's over, Selena.
Wow.
Big upset. But looked like one of Kendall's lead or second, I'm not sure who it was, actually fell.
Yeah.
Sweeping that rock.
Everyone on the ice reacted,
Like,
and it was Jared Brown, yeah.
Who was it, Jared Brown?
Yeah, just to point out that it was Jared Brown that fell.
He's not hurt, though. He's
Sweeping
okay.
the last rock.
If any of his family's
And
listening, he's okay.
He's fine.
Didn't hit his head or anything, so.
Just ego, I guess.
Yep, but here we go to the 10th on our sheet. Stevens looking to steal one, and Thompson looking to keep it clean and take one coming home. First rock from Kelly Middlestat. Chad's calling for this out front of the house. Be a nice centerline guard. Definitely does not want to come into the ring. Wants to leave it in that free guard zone.
Yeah, so
Nice shot.
so what are the two teams thinking here, Jeff? You tell me.
I tell you, I think Stuart Thompson's looking to keep everything nice and clean. This shot should probably be out to the wings one way or the other.
He
And-
called guard,
Did
which
he
is
really?
interesting, yeah.
Well, there you go.
But
So obviously I don't know what he's thinking.
Skips tend to do one or the other. I am a slightly more defensive mind and would tend to put this one to the side.
Me too, absolutely. I think Chad's loving this.
And especially if it goes deep in the rings.
Which it is. And that's the danger with that rock coming to the center.
So that's back button. Chad needs to steal to win, so we'll go for the other center guard.
Having said that, Selena, won't be long before once Stuart has the opportunity to remove that long guard, he's going to do it.
Oh, sure will.
Right,
Earlier in the
so-
game when they're looking for points.
Totally different situation.
You
but-
maybe leave it there a bit longer and try and
that's-
generate.
So
But
that makes this shot from Stuart not that risky because he knows that guard's going to be going first chance he
Absolutely.
gets. So, and with the weight these guys can throw, and Chad knows it too, which
it
is why
still
he's
sucks a little bit though, because Stevens will use it to freeze too. There's
eventually he will. I mean, Steven's still throwing the guard up, trying to get more junk out front.
So no peel is available right now. Doesn't really play. I don't see them play that tick shot
No.
often at all. So this one is called in the rings as well.
Tick shot being with that rock that's on the center line that cannot be removed, but it can be moved. So they try a tick shot and just move it off the center line without actually removing it from play.
Move, not remove.
Remove, not
You got
remove.
her. They have to go wait for the line. You see Travis there sweeping just to get a little bit of curl out of this. They want this to stay top house. This is actually going to protect that back stone and freeze potentials. So I think they'll take that. 2 stones in the 4-foot. And we'll see hits coming after this from Team Thompson.
Chad will come into the house now, and with Thompson, because he knows Thompson's going to start peeling those guards, so he might be looking for a miss on one of those peels where it drives it into the house as opposed to peeling it off and start getting some things happening for his on the button.
Yeah, and it's critical for Ian Gerling here that this one is in the front of the rings.
Absolutely.
Can't be deep.
Can't be deep. See them both.
This one's hanging a bit wide. Sweepers want to touch it a little bit, or at least Cameron does. Kelly's saying,
wide,
don't touch that rock.
really wide.
So it's still in the rings. It's in front of the tee line, but there was a little rub off.
But Thompson's going to ignore that.
He's going to ignore it. You can see it, but you do not. You don't play
No.
into that game when you have him tied in 10. They're saying they can see the rock, but he realizes he's like, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, exactly. Just listen, fellas.
I know that, and the team at the front end, they're worried about, you make this and it runs in. You have to have the house open, the rings open. And we just had last rock on the McDougall-Fleming sheet. Angle raise from Brett McDougall, and it's close. So here's the peel.
Got one.
Just didn't clip that second stone. I think we'll see a measure on our other feature sheet here.
It looks like there's 3 rocks in play on that, Selena. There's 3 rocks.
Which would mean it's for the win for Fleming, who was down 1 without. If it is 2 yellow, but I think we'll see a measure. Marty Gavin seems to think it is 2 yellow.
I can't see the in-house TV screen from here, so I really can't give you an opinion. But there comes Kathy Miketon with the stick to see where she what the measurement's going to be.
Marty took his glove off to shake.
Who
but
did?
I think the team has
Marty?
a better mind and to say, just put the stick on it, man. It's for a tie or a win if it's us.
Who took the gloves off? Marty?
Marty.
Nice.
So another guard going up here. Actually, are they bringing this one in?
It looks
they
like
are bringing
that's
this one
coming
in.
right in.
Just because of Ian's first stone, they're bringing this one in and kind of trying to tap the blues. Turned out A-OK. I think Stewart will still peel that front
suspect
guard.
that other guard will go. Well, maybe not.
He sits 2. I don't think you need to mess with that. I think the guard's what's hurting you, but they have time to think about it. It's a good chance to get your blue in there. And if you're tight, you can wick the guard.
2 yellow on sheet D.
It was 2.
So,
wow.
Mike Fleming with the steal of 2 coming home to win. The raise up by McDougall just came up just like an inch too much. They decide to come into the house, did they?
Yeah, this is right in the crotch. You can get rid of both yellows.
Oh. That's okay, though.
Does A-OK.
Yeah.
It's, I still don't like seeing that center guard out there.
No.
But if you think about it, Chad doesn't have a lot. He can come off his own right now. This little
yeah, that rock's not doing anything.
round the horn play.
Won't do anything for Chad in the long run.
But this call is just to put another one in, lob another one in there.
Yeah. He can get to that back one and just sit on the button. Might take Thompson out of it. I should say that rock for Chad that's there now is not going to do anything for him from a scoring position. It certainly might help him on a back.
Was this one called in?
That
Jeff?
was definitely called into the button.
It's
so I don't know what happened
very
there.
light.
Don't know what happened there. Something happened with Cameron's shot there for sure.
So is the double peel there to lose the shooter? I don't know if it is.
I think it is. You hit it really thin.
Nose definitely, but nose keeps your shooter around.
Yeah.
You have to try and hit this. It's okay with the single peel too, but love a really good chance here to get 2 guards gone.
Definitely don't want to hit it too thick because that yellow one will come back into the rings. Too thick.
My concern is why did Mike think that Frank was shot rock? Was it close? No.
And he wanted to put $10 on it.
Well, that's the Fleming in him. He'll bet anything.
I guess there were maybe some wagers
I
there.
guess so.
He was shot on sheet
Not
D.
that we condone that kind of thing.
No, never.
You're not allowed to quit after.
All right. Just going to see
Chad,
some
pay
weight
attention
here.
to your own game.
Colton with some big weight here.
So get some really good action with the weight here. Should spring that yellow a little bit.
Only got the
It
one.
does. Would have liked to hit that a bit thicker.
It's going to make that draw to the 4-foot a little more accessible for Chad.
If throw this out very quickly, if any of my fellow commentators are watching, we've had just have an illness for the 2 o'clock game. So if anyone is available for 2 o'clock, please get a hold of me.
Yeah.
But I'll reach out.
I do have a day job that I have to get to at some point.
Oh, it's in accounting.
In accounting. I have to go count.
I have to count now. There's 3 blue stones. This is so cheesy. There's 3 blue stones in the house, and 1 yellow not in good scoring position. Team Stevens has to deal with these blue stones in order to get a good rock in there to try and steal.
Of course, right now they're the only game in the shed. All other 3 games have completed.
I think you can bounce things around, just play like a back line weight type shot and just move. You got 3 stones remaining, and just move the stones, get them behind the tee line, and create a wall. I think.
Come off the top one.
Off the blue, yeah,
off the
top blue.
The blue top one.
Yeah, just leave your shooter out front.
Make them make a play on it.
You need a wall with the weight that the back end of Team Thompson throws here. You have to have some protection, and you don't have it up front, so why not in behind?
Yeah. All of a sudden, Team Stevens is down to 2 minutes, under what Thompson has left. So they're way ahead for the longest time.
They had a lot more, but this is where the time gets eaten up. Both teams still have a timeout, so it shouldn't be an issue.
Looks like they're playing your shot, Selena, where they're going to move that top one.
I think that worked pretty well for them. Maybe it was played with a little more weight than I was suggesting.
Chad still has to find a way to become shot with his.
The guard's still in play, but we're seeing a timeout called here. So this is their last timeout with just under 3 minutes to go. They'll have 90 seconds to kind of think out the next few shots. There's 5 shots remaining. 3 for the blue pants. 2 for the green shirt. I don't know.
Hopefully, people at home watching on a color TV and not black and white or black and white. Hopefully,
I don't know if those are still made.
Their computer screen if they lose.
Oh right, yes, and the unlikely chance that you lose color in your screen. I don't even know if that can happen.
I don't know either, but you know what? I'm not.
No, you're not. Jeff keeps looking at the camera that the viewers can't see. So there is still a guard in play. It's out front. So that's blocking off the intern side of the sheet.
Yeah.
And they're sitting 2. But I suspect Team Stevens is going to play some more little soft weight taps. So they're looking at coming off the back yellow, which is a way to access.
And I would think for Thompson that back yellow one is probably the most dangerous rock.
Yeah,
Stevens
like
can certainly use that to come across and sit on top of the blue one that's back 4 foot.
Exactly, and the top risk as well, because if it's raised and the blues go behind that tee line too far, then yellow will be shot. But I think they're just recognizing Chad has a really good opportunity to kind of horseshoe it.
Sink one in there, yeah.
Round the horn, yellow, the left yellow into the blue, direct a little bit up to the button area. So you can just you could just peel out that back one, lose it completely. You can peel out the top one, but I think the back one's probably a little bit more risky.
Thompson could throw big weight here and peel everything out, really, if they really wanted to.
That's true. If you play enough weight on the top one and get the angle right, the risk is not having the angle right and screwing yourself over a little bit.
But you still have 2 rocks to come with Stewart too.
Yeah, this is still make shots.
Yeah.
So they've used both their timeouts and they have 2 minutes. They have to make a decision.
No, I know. You gotta get the one I'm hitting. I want your
So the thing they're doing is peeling out the back 4 stone. And Team Stevens would have just used that timeout to talk about their own strategy as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
Depending on saying, okay, if they make this, then we do this.
Time is not really a concern, though, for either team. Even though it doesn't show a whole lot of time, there's still plenty of time.
So this is just the peel out. It's a simple call, but it really does take away one good option that Chad had. So they really only are looking at this gentle tap back. And yellow likely won't be shot after this, but he has one more, Chad Stevens. And they have been very careful with line going across the center line. It'll hold, and then once it crosses, it starts to curl a bit more. So with the soft weight, you just have to be careful of that.
Just got to come across that center line. It'll start to curl here, depending on how much weight he.
Still wide. It's not to nose yet. Kelly's trying to get that extra curl. So it makes contact with the blue and pushes it behind the tee. That's that wall I talked about.
Yeah. And that rock is certainly usable for Chad with his last one. So Thompson's going to have to make a move on that one.
I'd be somewhat tempted to, people might think I'm crazy to slash that top yellow. That's the stone Chad's going to use right now.
Think so? I mean, Chad has two options, really.
Stewart's looking at the hit on the side one, which is how Chad can get in there. But you're always looking, what does the other team have? And they don't have the benefit of time here.
Well, the way I'm thinking about it, Celine, is if Stewart can come off that yellow one and roll to the front of that blue rock that's in the back four, Chad wouldn't have more than half the pin to get to.
Yeah, but if he does, it's not going anywhere.
Well,
there's always a couple ways of looking at those things.
Exactly, yeah.
I tend to be the one that's like, oh, if you don't make it, it's bad. So less than a minute left. He's got to throw, make a decision. They are going to go for this back one.
I think what you'll see is Chad will probably use his second time out here just to steel himself and give himself that extra time to make whatever shot that he needs to make.
So this is to remove this yellow stone, try and roll her in, make Chad make a good one.
I don't know if it's going to come to the inside or not. They're trying to the inside sweeping to get her to roll.
So sitting 3, Team Stevens will take their time out. I don't think the shot is too much in question. I think it's going to be a raise on their own yellow stone.
I think the problem that they're going to have is what's going to happen to their shooter. How far away is it going to roll? How much of an exposure is that raised rock going to be?
I think it's nose. So you nose with back 4, maybe back 8 weight. The yellow gets promoted onto the blue that's directly in it, and if it taps the blue a tiny little bit, yellow will be shot, guarded. But there will be a slash on the other side for Stewart, and Chad's got to make this shot. It's pretty precise.
Here is the last shot from Chad Stevens. He needs to be shot when he's finished to force Stuart Thompson to throw his last rock of the game. One way or the other, somebody's winning this game after 2 more rocks. It's definitely not going to be
no blank here.
No blank here. It's awful quiet out there at just the one game.
And they're dealing with the changing ice conditions. We saw Chad make his draw in 8. This one's hanging wide. Needs to come up to nose to get shot out of this. It's moving now.
It's coming. Here it comes. Oh, I think he's got to the nose. No, he's just off nose. He's just shot.
So decision time doesn't take long.
No, this is going to be a big weight peel out shot for Stewart.
One of them.
As long as he gets rid of that yellow. I mean, he has 2 other blue ones still there, so he's...
that was so close for Chad to being perfect. Had to curl a centimeter, maybe an inch more. Made contact with the other blue at the back, and that was the wall they were trying to create. So last rock, big weight hit.
I'm not sure he has to peel it out, Selena. I think if he just gets to the nose, he'll be fine.
Sweepers have to back this up. I think it was a bit tight out of his hand.
Close to the guard. The guard. Some of motion there from Stuart Thompson. And
So that'll be a victory there for Chad
Stevens.
Stevens. They'll go to 3-1.
Along with Kendall Thompson and Jamie Murphy, 3-1, top of the standings.
So we'll catch you back for the women's draw and the Scotties. Thanks for joining us here at the Deloitte Tankard on Bell 5 TV 1. See you at 2 o'clock.